Friend folk, and welcome to the premiere episode of the One Shot Show. Each episode, we're going to give you a one shot of a different RPG, and we'll see if we can't be big darn heroes, even if it's only for just one night. Tonight, we're going to be teenage punks standing up against injustice in our premiere episode of the One Shot Show. We're playing Misspent Youth, Fall in Love, Not in Line by Fragging Unicorns Games, which just happens to be kickstarting right now with 6 days left. I am contractually obligated to point you to remalternis.com/MisspentYouth so that you can back and help us get to our first stretch goal, which is 15,000, 15K. Anyway, I am Fragging Unicorns founder, OC Opti Presley, and this is our baby. So thanks for being here. I'm glad to be running. I'll be playing the part of the authority, or the bad guy, for the rest of the night. And with me are a lovely bunch of folks, and I'm going to pass it on to them so they can introduce themselves. Starting now. Go!
Hey, everybody. It's me, your guy, Chris. Giant nerd, love to play games and such. And yeah.
All right. And I am Ava Rogers. I am crowdfunding director for Rem Alternis and playing a lot of games here. And that's me. I'll be playing Char.
I am Roadkill, or Andrew, depending on where you know me from. But I also play on the Dresden stream for Rem Alternis, and that's really about it. I will be playing Panda.
His given name is Roadkill, in case you're wondering.
Yes, that's the
Andrew's
name my
just a
parents gave
nickname.
me. It's on my birth certificate.
You can boo the authority when he says things like that.
I'd rather just be sarcastic along with them. That's fine.
My name is John McDonald. I am an LGBT playwright by trade, and in the Rem Alternis universe on Sunday night, I play Panabon, the genderqueer gnome. And you're going to be hearing my voice quite a bit in the Alternia archives, which is the Rem Alternis podcast system, including upcoming tomorrow, the first episode of Saints and Sinners. And tonight I am playing Witch, who is full of anger and righteousness against the authority. Boo the authority! Boo this man!
The man.
The man. Don't boo Opti. Opti's great. Boo the authority.
And I am Clifton Lambert, lead author of this next Misspent Youth book. Wrote the playtest document that we're playing today, and here to play the game. I should also mention that Ava's one of our authors for one of the settings of the Misspent Youth book, Fall in Love, Not in Line, for one of the other settings that you can expect to see once you back the Kickstarter and get the book.
Excellent. So thank you to everybody who's rushing to back right now. We're not going to pay attention to that right now. We're just going to pay attention to playing and helping everybody understand how to play and walking you through what a one shot would look like. So first, because we imagine that most of you don't know how to play Misspent Youth, and we're going to test a theory, which is you don't have to do anything to prep for it in order to play. We're going to learn how to play as we go. But first, Misspent Youth, what is it? It's a tabletop role-playing game where you use your imagination to create a world that you can define, stand up to, and overcome an oppressive authority. It's empowering, and that's what the game is all about. When the authority tries to stamp you out, you get to stand up to the authority and make it afraid instead. In this safe time and space in this game, we don't just stand up to injustice and the authority, we get to subvert and destroy it. We destroy it by using our imaginations to create shared story experiences together, and along with some dice and rules that only exist to prompt our creativity, we can continue to imagine how that we can create justice in the world around us. So imagination is the first step in changing the world. Whenever we witness injustice, we hope that you will be ready to subvert or destroy it. And the first step is right here, playing Misspent Youth in a one shot. We're going to have some of the cast members be reading some of the rules so that you can get familiar with them. Cast members, start with Chris because it's easy to go clockwise, at least clockwise on my screen. Can you read the section on the playtest document that says making stuff up?
Of course I can. All right.
Perfect.
Making stuff up. Our approach to the episode presented in this document is to provide you with a lot of ideas to start from. If you haven't played a lot of narrative role-playing games, it can be hard to figure out what you're supposed to do, but most people find that it comes easily and is a lot of fun once you get into it. And so, unlike the much more open-ended presentation of most narrative games, we've provided you with some structure to help get you started. In the form of a setting that is already made up for you, characters that will help you bring that setting to life, an authority that you're going to want to take down, and a written plot to get you going. If you'd rather make more stuff up on your own, please feel encouraged and empowered to take the story where your creativity leads instead of adhering to what I wrote. That said, we left a lot of blank spaces for you to fill in with your own ideas, and the outcome of the story is not predetermined. Every group is going to have a very different experience depending on the choices that you make. When something comes up that you don't know about the world, like whether or not you have smartphones, what class you're taking, a favorite snack, or anything you need to know to understand the world and tell a story, just make that shit up. Just make it up. As long as it doesn't.
There's your one.
The PG show. You've used our one swear, Chris,
Yeah.
in the
Had to get out of the way
introduction.
early. You had to make sure that nobody else was gonna
You
get
had one
it out
job
in front of
to
them.
just read it.
It was that Deadpool Wolverine story you told. He thought someone was gonna Wolverine him.
All right, go ahead. No more swears, Chris.
But we're like 3 minutes in.
That was it. All right.
All right. Someone who's not Chris, read the setting introduction for Neo Babylon. This is the setting that we're going to be playing in tonight for our one shot. I say somebody, what I meant was Ava.
Okay. The vast city sprawl of Neo-Babylon stands alone as the world's largest, wealthiest, most influential city there has ever been. Ruled by a council of mages and the corporations that serve them, those on the margins are constantly fending for themselves. While rich, powerful forces in Neo-Babylon grind towards uniformity and suck wealth from the lower classes, rebels, punks, and subversives refuse to go quietly. Armed with cybernetics, magic, faith, skills, and most importantly, your community, you are going to kick at Neo-Babylon's darkness until you break the system or are broken by it. Your neighborhood is a rough part of town in Neo-Babylon, one that has been struggling economically for many years. But a recent corporate initiative is pouring resources into the community, bringing a brighter future. Brought to you by Kingu Corp.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the authority. The authority plays the role of the antagonists that's going to be putting pressure on our youthful offenders, or YOs, and generally being really mean. So it's not a game of punching cardboard cutouts and simplistic caricatures of villainy, to be expressly clear. We're not going to be doing anything that's going to cross any lines for anybody here. We're going to sort of stay PG. But the most important rule of the authority is that I'm going to try to bring out the most interesting story, the most hurtful story, and the most awful story that I can by playing an authority which looks an awful lot like the authorities that exist in real life, and essentially turning the screws on our youthful offenders or our YOs whenever I get the chance. Road Andrew Kill, would you please give us the lowdown on the authority, starting with the name of the authority, the description, and then the things that describe them.
Just starting with the first one, not the intro paragraph for the authority.
Yes,
section.
start where it says
Awesome.
name,
Gotcha.
and then,
Kingu Corp, which is a worldwide corporation that makes everything from military hardware to consumer goods, and is also known for its popular social media platform, Metabook. Kingu Corp has recently established itself within your neighborhood and has replaced the local government and envoys with its own people. In addition to building new factories and hiring many local people as employees, they bought out and replaced all local small businesses. Now everyone with a job works for Kingu Corp. They even tore down and replaced the old high school with a shiny new building. Most people in town seem optimistic. Steady employment, nice phones, and employee discounts are the siren songs that prevent them from seeing how Kingu Corp is drowning them all. Never mind the people who don't do well under Kingu Corp's authority. Try not to think about that. There's nothing anyone can do about it anyway, is there? Don't let the Kingu Corp envoys hear your criticism, or you might be the next person to get demonetized.
This next part, each authority in Misspent Youth has a number of particular things that describe them, how they interact with the world. Can you please go through those, Andrew, as well?
All right. The first one in the list that I'm looking at is Vice, which Kingu Corp's vice is greed. Kingu Corp is driven by an insatiable hunger that it can't deny. Money, power, even influence over the daily lives and politics of its employees. Victim, the people they victimize, are the people themselves. They use people up, crush their dreams, and appropriates all of their potential to feed its profit margins, and with no care at all for those who pay the true costs. Next, their visage, or visage, depending on how you want to pronounce that word, is they're a corporate. They're a corporation. Kingu Corp is a big business, a massive corporation with incredible economic power, which it leverages into considerable political power. No value is considered higher or more important than that which generates profit for its shareholders and high-level executives. Their need, what Kingu Corp needs to do for themselves anyways, is require an endless source of inexpensive, indebted, indoctrinated, and compliant labor.
Excellent. So that is the high authority, Kingu Corp. But Kingu Corp has a number of what's called systems of control. These are the particular things that Kingu Corp has put in place that allow it to control the people that it is oppressing. Panabon, would you mind reading the systems of control that Kingu Corp has?
Well, I don't like it, but I'll read it. We've got 4 systems of control, and the first one is MetaBook. Kingu Corp owns MetaBook, the most popular social media platform that everybody uses. This allows Kingu Corp to directly influence public opinion, draw attention towards or away from events according to their preferences, deliver targeted misinformation, and ultimately shape the beliefs of the people who log on. They never truly, ever log off once they sign on. People who criticize the platform are stigmatized as old-fashioned and irrelevant. And MetaBook can lead to something like demonetization. And this is a deterrent and a punishment that Kingu Corp uses, and they demonetize people by excluding them from access to employment. They've established a near monopoly and a control of local government agencies. If you aren't working for Kingu Corp, you have no way of making a living. And the third system of control is this new high school. Kingu Corp tore down the old decrepit high school building, decrepit, and have replaced it with the new, shiny campus with state-of-the-art facilities. Most adults in the area seem thrilled with the new structure, and Kingu Corp is thrilled to have a majority stake in the mandatory education of every young mind. And the final system of control is community consequences for individual actions. Now, when you get in trouble with Kingu Corp, you can be demonetized, but it doesn't stop there. Kingu Corp wants friends and family members to be highly motivated to pressure each other to adhere to corporate culture. When one person is punished, other secondary punishments are issued to everyone connected to that person. These punishments are harshest to those closest to the offender, such as immediate family members might be docked pay, demoted, or even demonetized as a consequence for another person's behavior. If you're MetaBook friends, you lose what are called meta points. Now, you can imagine that most people quickly unfriend anyone that offends Kingu Corp.
All right, those are the systems of control. And last, we're going to pull in and we're going to describe the particular authority figures that the systems of that prop up the systems of the control. These are the individuals that you might encounter that are supporting Kingu Corp and supporting the systems of control. We don't name them until they come up, which is really fun. So they're not named, but when they when they first arrive, we will all discuss what we name them, maybe even getting some help from you, the chat. But yeah, it's pretty satisfying to name the authority figures after people that have hurt you in real life, so that you can even in a game get them back.
I had a very memorable game session at Gen Con this last year, in which one of the authority figures was My Pillow Mike Lindell.
Oh no!
I believe the zombie of Mike Lindell nearly killed one of the YOs at the very end, because of course things didn't go well for. Well, there were zombies and a pillow factory.
I don't think there's going to be any zombies in this one, but Cliff, why don't you tell us what the authority figures are going to be for this episode?
All right, Kingu Corp's authority figures are the high school principal. The new principal is a Kingu Corp employee, and their primary job is to make sure that the corporate indoctrination process runs smoothly and efficiently. The rich YO's parents, so are another authority figure. One or more of a youthful offender's parents got a job with Kingu Corp and have quickly risen in its hierarchy. They were recently promoted to an important and well-paying position as a demonetizer. Every life they destroy is rewarded with a valuable commission, and since then you moved into a nicer place. Your parents gave you a new car and you have the highest end, most expensive phone Kingu Corp makes. Just don't think about where it came from. Another authority figure is the Lawjack Captain. The Lawjacks are the police of the setting of Neo Babylon, and officially they're public servants, but in reality, they only exist to serve the wealthy and powerful. They enforce the laws that preserve profits at the expense of the people they are sworn to protect and serve. The Lawjack Captain isn't directly on Kingu Corp's payroll, but that doesn't mean he doesn't work for them. He knows that any excesses of force will be overlooked as long as the victims are not valued by Kingu Corp. And the last authority figure is the Community Elder Collaborator. They used to own a number of small businesses in the neighborhood, but sold them all for stakes in Kingu Corp. They are the only community elder that wasn't replaced by Kingu Corp representatives. They are completely loyal to the company, are willing to assist Kingu Corp with any endeavor, regardless of its cost to the people that they used to be responsible for. Now they only seem to care about Kingu Corp and their own ever-increasing personal wealth.
All right. We have another thing we could talk about. These are the sort of things that the youthful offenders use to fight back. So the authority has their systems of control and their authority figures. Well, the youthful offenders have their exploits, but these aren't going to come up yet. So I'm just going to push that down the road a little bit until they come up. Then we'll talk about them then. Right now, I want to introduce you to the youthful offenders themselves. So youthful offenders, again, we'll start with Chris. Look where it says youthful offenders and find your short introduction to your character and read that introduction, and then we'll go clockwise again.
Alrighty. I am playing Jace. Alrighty. The Golden Boy. And Jace's father, a Lawjack, enrolled Jace into the Lawjack's Young Cadet program designed to push him through the pipeline and into a fresh new Lawjack officer. His father ruled over the family with an iron fist, but without express violence. Jace's father instead ruled with implied threat. Jace learned very early that he could avoid scrutiny if he behaved as agreeably as possible, and he learned discipline, how to work hard, and the value of keeping his mouth shut.
Hey, if I could interject here, I believe the short versions, you're reading the really long one. It's actually in the playtest document, pages 4 and 5.
Ah, okay.
There's like a one sentence thing, because when we were first doing the playtest, I realized that reading these all off took way too long. And I think, please feel free to correct me, Opti, if I am assuming.
No, you got it. I was just I can't interrupt people. It's a.
Yeah, I felt that too, and I've been,
I was like, no, I can't.
Chris reads, yeah, so it's all good stuff. But
already turning into the authority there, interrupting.
Continue going.
Just lost some meta points there.
Golden Boy is an altruistic and justice-minded elemental martial artist, trusted by the man. For now,
an elemental martial artist who is a suck up. All right, who's next? Ava.
I'm playing Char. Char is a brilliant, prideful, and sometimes overconfident student of the arcane.
Ooh. Andrew Kilroad.
Andrew Kilroad, yes. I am playing Panda, who is a smart, thrill-seeking, and sneaky breacher with boundless curiosity.
Breachers are like hackers.
Yeah.
They carry
I
around
know
their
tech,
little cyber
computers.
kit. Yeah.
I probably speak binary as a language. You know.
0000001. Okay, next.
I am playing Witch, and Witch is a bristly, self-reliant former ganger with illicit cybernetics, which are not a big deal, and a big chip on her shoulder.
Can't see the metal that's in me. It doesn't exist. And Cliff.
I'll be playing Beatty. Beatty is a responsible, fast-thinking, optimistic mage of Nanchi, the goddess of justice, who can sometimes be a control freak. Also, Panda's older sister.
Excellent. We're not going to talk about them right now because I'd like to get into the story, but each of the young youthful offenders has what are called convictions. Every youthful offender has 5 different convictions. 3 of them are sort of common to everybody. You can pick from 5 of each, but then you get to make up the last 2, which are sort of something weird about your character, and then finally your disorder, which is something that harms you as much as helps you in most situations. As we go on, the way that the youthful offenders influence the world is by using these convictions. Those are sort of like their abilities or powers. So they have 5 convictions each. When all of those convictions have been sold out, and we'll talk about that later, that is when the game finally and fully ends. What we do need to do right now, before we move on, is to pick the rich kid. One of you is a rich kid who has parents working for Kingu Corp at a very high up position. It makes a lot of sense if Char is the rich kid, but there's really
Yeah.
no reason we can't pick somebody else if you all think that makes more sense to you.
I think Char definitely makes sense. One of
Sounds-
their convictions is rich.
Yeah, there's sort of the old money.
Although that does say old
default
money,
rich
so
kid.
yeah.
Yeah. But if anybody else wants their character to be rich instead, then fine. Otherwise,
no, by all means, let's eat his snacks.
all right, then we'll just move on. And Char, you are the rich kid.
Yay.
Before we start the first scene, we have what are called friendship questions. And friendship questions are your chance to do some world building yourself before we get started. On each of your character sheets, you have a list of friendship questions. What we're going to do before we get started in the first scene is each of you is going to pick one of those friendship questions, and then you're going to pick one person to ask those friendship questions to. Now, you're not doing this in real time. You are simply world building, right? You are choosing the question, and then the person that you are asking will choose the answer. You're not having a dialogue, you're just creating background to these characters and their relationships so that when we start into scene 1, these characters already have a feel of having known each other for a while. So Cliff, I'm going to ask you to start us off by picking a friendship question from your character sheet and then asking one of our other youthful offenders to answer that friendship question.
All right, I'll ask Witch. What are you afraid that I'm going to do to hurt you?
Ooh.
Right?
Tough
And
question.
you're playing Beatty, correct?
Yes, Beatty, she's again sort of kind of a no nonsense, more or less the organized kind of rule follower, not like Jace is, but and she spent a lot of time in a church program and apparently had something happen with that. Um, but I don't know, not sure what else to drop in there because
Yeah,
it's up to
rules
you
are
to
made to
answer
be
me.
broken. Rules are made to be broken, and it's just one of those things where if you're so behind those rules, I've seen how hard those rules break. You know, that goddess of justice. those knives are pretty sharp on that goddess. That's why I have knives of my own.
Hmm. Interesting. Why don't we go ahead and continue on? So if you've been asked a question, why don't you go ahead and ask the next one?
Okay, I'm gonna ask Panda. Have you forgiven me for giving you that scar?
Hmm. I'd like to say yes and take the high ground, but chances are I likely not. Yeah.
I will say this, feel free to give as broad an answer or as short an answer as you want, or simply say, I'm not going to answer that, right? All of
Right.
that, no matter what it is, no matter what the answer is, it will build some mystique around the answer. So if you have more to say, feel free to world build, right, for a little bit, and then, or if you just want to answer it like, very straightforwardly and then maybe have some of that come up later, that's fine too.
I feel you took advantage of my small size in the situation, but to be fair, I did mess around with some of your cybernetics to be fun. So I guess it kind of evens out.
Hill Andrew Road. Why don't you take the next one?
All right. I think I'm gonna go for Golden Boy on this one.
What's up?
So Golden Boy, what secret of yours have I discovered, and do you know that I know it?
You know that I have been teaching I have been teaching people how to do Yojin, some of the Yojin training against protocol or whatnot. And yes, I know that you know this because I've taught you some stuff.
Ooh.
All right, I like this.
Nice.
Probably so I can deal with Witch next time.
Yeah,
They come at me with a knife.
and I was like, "Hey, no, this you got to do this next time."
With which get the horns.
Yeah, I discovered how short that fuse really was with Witch. So.
All right, Golden Boy, who are you asking?
Char. What was the thing that you did that really upset me?
Well, I didn't mean to. I was just practicing my flame spell, and I maybe accidentally burned your favorite jacket. It wasn't on purpose. I didn't mean to. It wasn't supposed to be there. It's your fault, really.
Oh man, I bet your
My
dad
dad
didn't like
grounded
your
me for
jacket.
3 weeks. Over that jacket.
People get attached to their jackets. It's nothing to
Yeah.
sneeze at.
That's why you just
All
have
right.
copies of the same, like I do.
Not everybody can afford to buy the same jacket. Char, finish us out.
Yes. Beatty. Why do you believe in me?
I think the reason I believe in you is because I feel a certain kinship with someone who also has some kind of mysterious powers they don't understand. And we've had a few moments talking about them. I think maybe you told me the secret of how your apprenticeship came to an end. And yeah, we were both sort of touched by some sort of otherworldly entity. So yeah, I feel that connection with you. If not with your potential entity, which I'm not sure that I 100% believe in, but I know you've got some mojo.
Obviously.
Excellent. All right, those are the friendship questions. Now,
I have a question about the friendship questions, actually.
yes.
I could ask. So in Beatty's little thing here, it says that Beatty is a mage of non-Shi. Is it important to know how Kinku Corp feels about the idea of these different gods and goddesses? Like, should we just assume that they use them for their own purposes? how should we like feel in world building about the idea of kind of gods in this universe, or is that revealed as the?
If this was,
Do you remember? I'd like to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'd just like to point back to the first thing that I believe Chris read out at the beginning of the playtest document about making stuff up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's exactly where I was gonna go.
as you need an answer to a question like that, you can come up with the answer while you're playing.
Yeah.
It's not really defined to that point.
If
That
this
said,
was-
I'm sure Chad has Opti has lots of ideas about how that plays into the setting, because it's it's sort of pulled from setting ideas that will be in other games too. But
yeah, if it was me, Opti, and we were doing a traditional GM, I would have an answer for that as the creator of the setting. But like, I agree with Cliff. For right now, unless we've talked about it beforehand, just make it up whenever it comes up, and you can make it up however you want to. That'll be fine. All right, moving on into. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that said, I sort of picture the church group thing that BD was put into is sort of more of a controlling, make sure to keep track of the kids, sort of indoctrinate the kids sort of thing. But there might be some true God stuff going on there that they don't necessarily have control over.
There you go.
But that's just my take from the character who's sort of in that position.
No, I could see it being a bit of both of those avenues and everything that you mentioned. Probably more reason why Panda was just like, you do that, I'm going to do my own thing.
Yeah. When in doubt, channel real life, because real life is a good place to grab crappy stuff from. All right. Scene 1. What's up? Today is the first day of school in your fancy new high school built by Kingu Corp. So far, seems pretty cool. And now it's time for lunch. The school cafeteria resembles a shopping mall food court with all sorts of Kingu Corp fast food subsidiaries represented. This looks awesome. You're all hanging out together in the lunchroom on your first day of school in your fancy new Kingu Corp high school. It's exciting for you to have your favorite fast food available in the cafeteria, along with your mix-your-own soda dispensers. And you're all sitting at the table together and preparing to eat your lunch. Now, this is the chance where you get to hop into your character without having to think too hard about it. Imagine what it would be like to be there. The echoing sounds of the large cafeteria, or the beeps and machines of sounds and voices, the smells of the different foods, burgers, tacos, French fries, noodles, kebabs, big sandwich, the bright lights coming from the huge windows along one side through which you can see an outdoor fountain with the statue of the Kingu Corp CEO at the center. Talk about what everybody else is eating. Talk about what you're eating. Talk about what your classes were like. Make stuff up. Try to slip into the mindset of teenagers at a fancy new school. So what are you having? Start by describing the food. And I'm going to give you some free play here, right? Where you get to interact with each other before something bad happens inevitably. Go ahead. What are you having?
I am. He's constructing the avatar right now. So what what Jace is doing? He's got like a slice of pizza, and he's taking like a burger patty, and then he's taking like a piece of chicken, and then he's taking another like piece of pizza, and then he's like stagging it together. He's like making a dagwood out of all these like out of the stuff in the lunchroom, and he's got like a cup of cheese. He's about to dunk it in.
How can you eat that?
Just you stuff it in your mouth and you chew.
Must be nice to have the option.
That's not what I meant.
You know they track what you get from here, right? They see if you get things that are against the grain or not, right?
Well, this is all Kingu Corp. These are all Kingu Corp restaurants here. I'm a little disappointed they didn't get a big sandwich in the place, but these wraps are good.
I prefer the lo mein noodles myself. They're nice, under the radar kind of food to get.
And of course, you get to make all the slurping sounds. BD says as she rolls her eyes and goes.
I rather like those slurping sounds. Thank you very much.
She's looking over a 3-ring binder as she has a sort of neatly piled a couple of wraps and a cup nearby.
Mhm. Panda would try to make the sounds even louder as they continue eating.
Like, I wanted to put noodles in this in this sandwich at some point, but the noodles just kept sliding out between the slices of pizza, and it just doesn't work.
They are
Char
tricky.
just has like a sandwich, just a sad little sandwich on a plate, and they kind of slide it away as they're watching a Jace eat. I'm not hungry anymore. You
So
can
then,
add that to
so-
your disaster over there if you'd like.
Oh, come on. We've got a
Casey's
few
gonna
hours left
slide
in the
it out.
classroom. You're going to need the energy. Eat your food. BD sort of pushes the sandwich back to Char. Don't you take it, as I point to Golden Boy. You've got enough.
I'm
Slide it
fine.
down to Witch here, and it just like slides it down the Witch.
No, thank you. I don't go for charity. I'm happy with my cup of noodles. It's all I need.
It's not charity if it's going to go to waste anyway.
It shouldn't
Or
go to
into
waste.
that black hole.
Isn't it recycling at that point?
It is. See?
If anything, Panda should eat it because they're so small.
No, I'm good with my noodles, thanks. As Panda just puts more hot sauce on the noodles.
Yeah, BD says, "Oh, Panda eats enough. Believe me."
He's a growing boy. Don't shame the man.
Yeah, I got a couple
Oh.
hollow legs.
I'd love to see some
No
evidence. of
cyberware
that.
needed for that.
Well, most of the kids around you seem excited about their favorite fast food items being served in the cafeteria, but a few, or quite a few, can't afford to eat here. So you see several students pointing and laughing at a couple of the other kids, and there's a cafeteria attendant tapping a sign that says outside food and beverages aren't allowed in the cafeteria. The kids who they're talking to or laughing at seem to be on the verge of crying, and they don't know whether to go eat their food somewhere else or throw it in the garbage so they can come into the lunchroom with everyone else. The fancy school does appear to have some corporate drawbacks. In moments, a few more students arrive with their sack lunches, and the cafeteria attendant points to the sign for them as well. And you see around the cafeteria that some students are sort of uncomfortable and maybe stopping eating while they gawk at what's happening. But other kids are clearly getting a lot of enjoyment out of seeing these poor kids get humiliated in front of everyone. And to you, the youthful offenders, this situation does not seem right. So now we are going to introduce the sort of main drama in each scene called a struggle. Every scene wraps up with a struggle. When the struggle starts, we lay out the struggle sheet, and you can see it right there. It's on the top left of the screen. And the authority is going to say, this is what I want to happen as a result of this struggle. And then the youthful offenders, or the YOs, they declare what they hope will occur if they win. So in this first episode, my authority, or my objective as the authority, is predefined, and you are going to choose from a list of hopes that you want to occur. Of course, if you can think of something else that fits the story better, we'll totally be up for that, right? So we just say, the authority says what badness we're up to, sets the stage for the struggle, and I'm going to place one of my tokens on a number, and that ends my turn, for lack of a better term. In the scenes, whatever the scene number is, I'm going to put my token on the number which is one higher than that. So in this first scene, since this is scene 1, I would be putting my token on number 2. And then once I do that, once I describe what's happened and then I claim a number, then one of you, doesn't matter who starts, would say, okay, I'm going to stand up, and that's your turn to act. When you stand up, you roll 2d6, and with that number, and with whatever number you roll, you would put your token on the struggle chart. If it's the same as what I chose, you lose. If you get one that's open, then it moves on. I respond as the authority to what you just did, and I'll claim a number that's adjacent to you on the struggle chart. Then the next youthful offender would stand up, roll the dice, and that would keep going. If you roll the dice and it lands on a number that has already been chosen by a youthful offender, then you win. And you get to choose how your conviction, along with the conviction that your friend used on that number, helps you to get what you hoped for in that scene. We're going to begin here very quickly, but very first, that was awesome language. 2 special rules are in play. The first is round robin, which means that no youthful offender can stand up a second time in a scene unless every other youthful offender has already stood up. That means, hopefully everybody gets a turn, or at least everybody sort of gets a possibility of having a turn every scene. And then the second one is violence is ugly. If any youthful offender stands up with a conviction and uses it to inflict harm against a person, the authority will then claim 2 numbers instead of 1 on its next turn. And then as I claim those numbers, I will describe the terrible consequences of the youthful offender giving the authority an excuse to ramp up the use of force. The idea there is that no youthful offender, no teenager can do violence quite as well as the authority who has the sort of legal monopoly of violence. So be very careful about your use of violence when fighting the authority. Here in the scene 1 struggle, the authority, that's my objective, is that most students around you would accept this situation as normal. They see all the other kids getting turned away, the poor kids don't get to eat, or they have to go away from the other kids who are eating. And they want to allow that the kids that brought their own lunches be turned away and ostracized by everybody else. That's what I want to happen. For you, you can choose between these hopes. The majority of your classmates see this as an injustice, to make sure that the people who can't afford to buy food at the Kingu Corp feel important, included, and get to eat, or something else that you guys want to come up with. What do you think?
I'm cool with just beating their asses. I mean,
you can do that.
It's really more the how though than the what.
Nice. Nice.
So,
So go ahead.
So I don't know how this actually worked with my hope, but so I'll just say this, and you can tell me if I'm doing this right or not. My hope is that I can throw this sandwich that we've discarded at the table that no one's eating right now at the sign, so it's not aimed at a person, but it hits the sign, and that will create a chain of events known as a food fight. And the shiny chrome world will become gross very quickly.
So the hope is more, what do we want
Food
to
fight.
achieve with this scene? What is the end goal we're going for? Which I think I just want this whole nasty business to be over with, and everybody should just be able to eat.
It's kind of going for a little retribution myself.
Yeah, what Panda sort of reporting back to like how the hopes work and whatnot. It's usually doesn't be like how you go about doing things. That's what we're going to resolve during the struggle. You kind of go straight for what do you want out of this. So based on what you said, it sounds like you want a food fight.
My hope is for a food fight.
Okay.
My hope is to make the kids with sack lunches that had to be turned away happy that they're not eating in the cafeteria somehow.
So one of the cool things about this is if you win, the authority automatically does not get their objective. So if the authority has the objective of the poor kids being turned away and ostracized, if they lose, then automatically the poor kids are not turned away and ostracized. So you could get that, and you could also get the food fight if you like.
I think the food fight sounds like
that sounds fun.
We haven't done that before in one of the many times I've play tested this. So
yeah, all
Didn't
right.
we basically do that in the first one? I feel like that
There was a
happened.
food fight involved. Yes, you
It
can't
wasn't
have.
the end goal, but it happened.
It was
This is a
more
food fight for justice.
Yeah, you can't open the scene with talk about what you're eating and then have a struggle at the end that does not involve some food projectiles.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
There's not a
All right.
sandwich sitting on the
I,
table,
So
I think
So
I'm going to
the
prep myself for
sandwich.
when which ultimately would throw said sandwich to see if I can hack the sign, assuming it's a digital sign.
and we didn't say it wasn't.
So that's what I'm going to get ready to do.
All right. Well, hold that thought. The authority wants most of the students to accept this as normal and to allow the poor kids to be ostracized. And you want a food fight to happen. So awesome. The kids with their own lunches all seem embarrassed and sad. And as the first two start towards the garbage can, ready to throw away the food they brought from home, the table with the popular kids laughs at them and calls them pathetic. And I'm going to claim the number 2 on the struggle chart. There you go. Oops, sorry, Cliff. I said you could do that, and then I took it back. All right,
I'm very
who's gonna
authority-like.
who's gonna stand up? And basically, whoever says I'm standing up first gets to stand up.
I'm standing up.
All right. First thing when you stand up, before you decide what you're gonna do, roll the dice.
And this is always 2d6?
Always 2d6.
All right. I got a 5 and a 2 equaling 7.
7. So you're going to claim the untaken 7. Now you're going to look at your character sheet and choose one of your convictions and tell us how you use that conviction in order to try to get what you want. Now, mind you, you didn't actually get what you want yet. This is just you trying to get what you want with that particular conviction.
Okay. I'm gonna use my. Oh, do I put like a token on something or do I talk first?
Cliff's going to do that.
I'm gonna use
I
my
can? Okay. Sorry.
orphan. I have the conviction orphan. I don't have parents, and my foster parents only care about collecting check. I'm barely ever supervised, and so it's not. I'm wild. Can't really help it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
So what do you do with that?
I come from a bad home. Who says there's not food fights in my home? Kind of
Yes.
thing.
So what do you do?
I lob the sandwich
Yeah!
toward the side. I
Yes,
guess.
you do. Yeah.
I've been practicing not throwing sandwiches at people, so I don't throw them at the popular people as I really, really want to do, which is a different conviction altogether. But I'm a wild orphan whose parents don't care. So
Yes.
goodbye,
Okay.
everybody.
As you lob the sandwich towards the sign, you see it looks like an ogre step from behind the kitchen area, and they've got a sort of apron on and not much else, and they pull up their pants and they go, "Hey, I like that sign!" And they take the sandwich off the sign and they come stomping over to you, looking like they're going to put this sandwich somewhere on your person. And you all see this happening. This ogre is heading over
Stand
towards your
up for
friend.
this one.
Well, hold on. I'm gonna.
right.
I get to choose an adjacent number. I'm gonna choose 6 on the struggle chart.
All right.
So yeah, now you can struggle. You see a big ogre chef
Mhm.
walking towards one of your friends with a sloppy
Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah.
I wanted to stand up.
Oh.
It's all right. You can go.
All right.
I had an idea though.
My idea was
No.
to hack.
Roll first. Always roll first.
So I do that with 2d6.
2d6.
Mhm.
Oh, look
8.
at that. Okay, cool.
Nice.
8. Oh, I almost chose
Yeah.
8. Good for you. All right. So now,
right.
yeah, you get to tell me which
All right.
conviction you use and how you use it.
I see. So I'm going to use Breacher
Okay.
on the sign. And in the hopes that when the ogre's up there taking the sandwich off of the sign, have the sign flicker and seem like it's malfunctioning, and have a mix between the current sign that it has, and something about like a Saturday night fight night thing. So it just reads food at the top and then fight at the bottom.
All right.
That's awesome.
So right as the ogre chef turns away, it starts to flicker, right? And instead of, food, outside food not allowed, it now says sort of food fight, and it's like glitching out. You can see some of the kids are noticeably grinning, and they've noticed this. Half of them are looking at the big ogre that's stomping out of the kitchen, but the other ones who were focused on the sign, especially some of the poor kids, are like, food fight, right? They were about to throw their lunch away anyway, right? So now you start seeing some of the poor kids reaching into their bags.
Oh, man.
Now,
I can, I'd like to just kind of crouch slowly under the table that I'm sitting at to take cover.
There are some other folks who are at some of the other places, some of the other stores that are selling food, and they're seeing what's going on. They haven't caught you in particular, but you can see they're getting on the phones and calling someone. Something is happening. There's a buzz around the adults in the room, and I'm going to claim number 9. And Char, I think you said you wanted to go.
Yes. I would like to stand up.
Stand up.
Char's going to
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice.
Oh right. Yep. I knew that. Shh.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get used to this, right? Normally, you're used to saying what you want to do and then rolling dice.
I still get it wrong when I play.
Yeah.
I'm one of the fighters.
All right, so you claim number 12. The reason we do that, right, is because standing up is impulsive sometimes, right? Like it's not something that you have to think about. It's something that you react to when you see injustice happening in the world. Like, and that's what we want to encourage. Like, hey, don't think about it, just do it, right? All right, so 12. What's your conviction?
My conviction is rich. And Char's going to literally stand up and intercept this ogre, did you say?
There's an ogre chef
yes.
that is stomping towards your friend, yes.
And, Char's going to...
a messy sandwich in their hand.
Flash money and be like, let's... It's a sign, it's the easily replaceable. The sandwich did no damage, but here, I will buy you a new sign. And it'll be all right as rain.
Wow. The ogre chef sees this money flashing in their face, and it's like, the sign's certainly not worth. I mean, I can clean up the sign, but I don't mind if I just pocket this money, and puts it in their pocket. Their pants in the back fall down a little bit as they shove the money down in there, and they sort of take their other hand and pull their pants up as they spin around and say, "Hey, no more of this nonsense, or you're gonna get what's coming to you. If that sign gets any more sandwich on it, then I'm gonna make a sandwich out of you." And he emphasizes which, because that's your name, and he thinks that's hilarious. I'm gonna make a sandwich out of you.
So, I'm curious if that was actually like Char laughing at the joke or just Ava.
Let's say both.
So much fun. All right. And
Char likes a good play on words.
Out of the corner of your ears, that's totally a thing, y'all. Out of the corner of your ears, you hear click, clack, which is the telltale sign of the Lawjacks and their boots, which are lined with metal so that they strike fear into the hearts of every teenager everywhere. It appears the Lawjacks have been called because there's some sort of ruckus is starting. And I will claim number... Did I claim number 11 already, Cliff?
11, yeah, I already put it on there for you.
Who's standing up next?
You only had one option.
Yeah.
I stand up.
All right. Roll the dice.
So yeah, roll the dice. What did I roll?
Attention.
5.
5.
Oh,
Wow.
there we go.
We're getting the struggle board filled up.
Yeah, seeing the situation kind of diffused and like just thinking of like all these kids not being able to bring their food in and all these other kids that have food like sticker at them. It just kind of turns my stomach, and I say a little prayer and I hold my little holy symbol to Nanshi, which is in the image of a very stylized image of a crap. What's the kind of bird? It's a bird that's pecking out its own heart. And
eagle?
as she does so, I want to say it's not. I'll have to look it up. I forget what it was. It's a very specific bird, but whatever the case, it's a bird that's pecking at its own heart. And I want to say a pelican, maybe, but I might be wrong. I'm a wonderful representative of my goddess in that. But she answers my prayers anyway.
Skip that day of Sunday school.
And at this point, yeah, some weird thing happens that's noted. Just one of those like just crappy bullies is about to take a big bite of their own sandwich. Another one's eating a bite of burrito. Like all the proteins of all the food in the entire cafeteria, including the stuff that's on prep, in sandwiches, in mouths that are just about to be chewed, transforms into wriggling worms.
Oh.
I'm using my
Don't have any
conviction.
protein in these noodles.
Oh, I should declare that I'm using the conviction that I'm using, which is Baru Guardian. That's my aptitude for the temple techniques and my connection to Nanshe, the goddess of protection and justice.
All right. Well, this noticeably causes outrage among the people who now are eating worms, and the
Golden Boy, how's that sandwich now?
the place just sort of erupts spontaneously, like wow, like just it goes from 0 to 100 in no time at all as people jump up and are flinging things around. This isn't even like a purposeful food bite, but food is being flung around everywhere now, and people are screaming, and it's not joyous at the moment. It's rather horrified. And now the Lawjacks have busted in now, and they've got their shock maces, and they warn, all right, we're on the lowest setting here, but this is still gonna hurt. Everybody take a seat. And I'm gonna claim number 4 on the struggle sheet.
I just look at BD and I say, I hate you a little less than I usually do right now.
All right, we've got, I think, one more person
All
can
right,
stand up.
Golden Boy,
right?
bring us
I'll
home.
stand up.
Roll the dice. 9. All right.
No.
So normally what would happen is, because you rolled a number that was already claimed by the authority, that would mean I win the scene. But we're being nice to you here. And in the first scene, you get a reroll. You get to, what is it, a reroll, Cliff?
Actually, I don't think I updated that in the part of the document you're looking at now, but I took that rule out in favor of the teamwork option, which provides a reroll.
So there is a rule. I don't. Yeah,
work in progress.
Yeah, okay. There's a rule that says if you once per
stand up
episode,
together,
right? You can stand up together, which means that anybody who has gone so far, you can narrate how you all stand up together, and you can shift that what you just rolled onto a number that's already been claimed, Cliff, or a number
open slot. You can pick a number.
So it doesn't actually win you anything, but it does keep the struggle going. Or
and it's once per episode. This entire game we're playing, we can do that
so
once.
if you use it now, you can't use it again. Or you can just let it happen, and you lose the scene, which, hey, it's only one scene out of 5. Or you can sell out, which means you take one of your convictions and you take it from its pure innocent form, and you make it into something that is gross and causes all of your friends to go, do I even know you anymore? So once you sell out all your convictions, you basically become what you are trying to fight against. So does anybody, let's see, is it
one thing you didn't mention is what you get for selling out, which is that you win the scene.
Yeah. If you sell out one of your convictions, you will just automatically win the scene, but that scene will not count towards your final count at the end of the episode. It'll count as a draw, essentially. Gotcha. So you have 3 options. I guess your friends have an option too if they want to stand together with you, or you can just take the loss, or you can sell out one of your convictions.
I vote for teamwork makes the dream work. Or do we want to save that?
The thing is, someone else who would have to stand up with you, and so it's not really your call.
So
You
if
can maybe like, hey, that would be nice if someone helped me out here, but you don't get a vote, I'm afraid.
Well, what do the rest do you want to do? Do you want to stand up
What
together?
is the goal here in how like in what you want to do with standing up to him? I guess what's your goal with it?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know, we just rush them and like together, like back to back.
BD thinks that's a terrible idea and is
That's
not
a
going to stand up
horrible
together with you.
idea.
Why not?
Yeah,
If
I
we
think you're
stand
on your own.
together and force the food fight
Looks like
and
your friends aren't
utter
gonna stand up.
chaos,
I mean, okay. We'll
it
take
would
the loss.
distract
I
and
think it's better if you stand up and help the Lojacks. Enforce control on the other little kids in this room.
Oh, look at that! I like this kid. Stand with the Lojacks. Help the authority.
I mean, you're the son of one, so it makes sense for you to do that, right?
I'm not my father, okay, Panda?
I know
All right.
you're not your father, but you
I'm
can
my
use
own
that
person, okay?
to our benefit.
So
Looks like your
it
friends aren't
sounds
going
like
to help you.
yeah.
So
Take the loss or sell out.
We'll take the loss. We'll take the loss.
all right.
Oh no!
So
Oh, getting a little zappity zapped.
no, I think it needs to stand down.
Principal comes over the loudspeaker. Yeah, this is the principal. I understand there's some commotion within the lunchroom, and you all need to return to your meals. We have a big day ahead of us, and you all need your energy. I know it's an exciting new school, and emotions are running high, and I know that you're all capable of living up to the respect that I have for you. So calm your butts down. And with the Lojacks all behind him, it seems like everybody gets in line. The kids with the sack lunches throw their food in the trash and they hang their heads low. And half of the room erupts in jeers or laughter or cheering. And the ones who seemed uncomfortable with the situation just decide to keep their hands down and focus on their own lunches. The kids with no food find a table to sit at where everyone else can see them not eating. At least they're here with the rest of their classmates. That's something, right? That's how it feels to lose, folks. All those kids were counting on you, and you flubbed it. So now we're going to move into the last part of each scene, which is called the reflection time. This is where you're going to reflect on what happened. You're going to ask each other questions and give answers. For this one, only one of you needs to ask a reflection question, but if anybody else wants to ask a reflection question, we can also do that. So why don't we start, Cliff, I'm going to ask you to start again as the person with the most experience doing this. Why don't you choose a reflection question from the packet at the end of the scene and choose somebody to ask it to, please.
All right. I think, which you said something that was interesting. I'm curious, what has changed about how you view me? BD.
Do I answer that right?
Yes. Yep.
I think it's hilarious that everybody had worms for food. And that is a retribution I had not thought of, because normally I just go for things get knives in them. So it's actually rather ingenious and a different sort of chaos than I'm used to. So I hate you a little less than I hate you yesterday, and that's kind of nice.
All right. So the day goes on, and you can tell that certain kids are sort of, not as comfortable. Number one, they didn't get to eat. Number two, everybody sort of knows that they have a different socioeconomic status than the rest of folks. Maybe their parents have been demonetized. Maybe they just come from a little bit outside of town. But either way, they're sort of marked as outcasts by a number of kids in the school. And that's where we're going to start scene number 2. And we'll start with Ava. Ava, why don't you choose the friendship question for this scene and choose who to ask it to? from now on, we'll only do one friendship question per scene.
Sure. Which? Why do you think afraid of?
Say that again. You were cutting out.
Dang it. Which? Why do you think I'm afraid of you?
Everyone's afraid of me, and that's how it should always be.
That was too easy.
There we go. Excellent. As the days go by, school just gets worse. Kingu Corp propaganda is everywhere. Some kids are shown preferential treatment, while others seem to have trouble adjusting. The teachers are not helping. Other students aren't helping. But one day you are all summoned to the principal's office after getting into some trouble. Things haven't been going so great for you as individuals, and you have done something in the very recent past to get you summoned here, and you're all waiting to find out what sort of punishment you're about to receive. Take some time to have some hushed conversation outside the principal's office. Think about how your youthful offender feels. Are you afraid, angry, defiant, resolved to your fate? What are your parents going to say about this? You probably all feel at least a little freaked out, and you have a couple of unsupervised minutes to talk about it together. What did you all do to get yourselves in trouble together? Go ahead and have some free play.
I don't even understand.
Our
why
last
did
teacher
you-
was boring, extremely, utterly boring.
I don't even understand why they pulled me in here too. I didn't even get involved. I was just trying to. You made such a why did you do that? It didn't help anything. It just got us in trouble.
It was funny, though.
I thought it was hilarious.
What did I miss?
Of course you did.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry, you were
in
sitting
class,
close to me on that one.
A
You
teacher
kinda
was
got
super
blamed by
boring,
association.
and well, I didn't really even see what happened completely. I just saw the mess afterwards, and then heard the screams. What
You
did you
guys-
do to the teacher?
Do you guys ever think before you act? Like
Oh,
you
I
gotta
think all the time
review-
before
I always
I thought
think.
it was hilarious.
Said like a true law jack. You ever think
Yeah.
before you act, huh?
I mean, the science
It'll
teacher
wash
wanted to work
out.
on combustion reactions, so I helped it along.
And I might have provided the spark.
And I ran out of paper, so I had to use the desk to take my notes. And they really don't like when you put knives on the desks.
Yeah.
What
It
did
was
you even
kind of like a
bring knives?
domino effect, one thing after another, you know.
You
Why
have
do you have your
knives in your.
You have a compartment just for your knives, right?
Not that you know of.
I mean, how do I not know of it? I just told you about it.
We're gonna get in so much trouble. We have to figure out something. How are we gonna do? We gotta figure out what we're gonna
Yeah, maybe
say.
not mention the knife compartment.
What knife
No,
compartments?
Stay,
I don't know.
exactly.
What
Stay away from. There is no knife compartment. All right.
Oh, yeah, there's
Yeah.
no knife compartment. I
Yeah.
got
Panda,
exactly.
Panda, please tell me you stashed your cyber kit before we got out here.
My what?
Your cyber kit? Come on,
I have
I know
no
you
idea what
bring it
you're
with you to
talking about.
school. Your cyber kit. Oh, come on.
No,
I know you bring it with you to
No
school. That's
idea.
how you hack things. It's your
I don't do
hacking
that.
tool, whatever you
That's
call
not
it.
what I do. You don't know me.
You're not very good under pressure, Beatty.
I'm not used to this kind of pressure. I don't do stupid
just-
things like this.
Just relax. Pray to your bird deity.
All right,
Well,
one at a
fine.
time.
recognizing someone who's going to turn all your sandwiches into a bird feed.
Why I don't eat sandwiches?
Anchi is not a bird
No.
deity. It's just one of her symbols.
Next, it'll
Alright.
be the noodles that'll be worms.
No.
It's perfect. They're already
not
the right shape.
noodles.
Okay, one at a time. You get called into the principal's office. Who is this? What's their name? What's the principal's name?
Ryan Murphy.
Jackson Mehoff.
Nope, we're not doing that one for a PG show. I've been warned about the principal's name today. we can't. We got to keep it PG. Try again.
What was the first one? Ryan Murphy? Is that what?
Yes.
That's a very bland name. Did you know somebody named Ryan Murphy?
Yeah.
That's very specific.
It's the guy that created and then destroyed Glee. So there's that.
All right, we're calling this Principal Ryan Glee Murphy. How about that?
I hate him so
I
much
like it.
already.
He's got to have
Excellent.
something called Murphy's Law, doesn't he?
Oh, most likely.
That's in place at the school.
It's posted everywhere.
It's all Murphy's Law in the school.
Makes my eyes roll every time I see it.
Every law is Murphy's Law. All right, Ryan Glee Murphy looks like a company CEO, very tall and imposing in his expensive business suit. He stands towering above you. The natural light of his window is casting him in silhouette throughout the interview and interrogation. His deep, booming voice is commanding. And it's time for the second struggle. The way that we're going to do this second struggle is switch back and forth. You know, like the camera's going to go from Murphy to each one of you, then back to Murphy, then back to another one of you, like sort of switching cameras and switching time in space, you know, as if this was like a really quick switching scenes in a show or something like that, right? So you guys aren't all in there together. You'll all be talking to Murphy separately, but it'll be quick switches between you all as you all have a conversation.
It's an interrogation montage. Got it.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
interrogation montage. I didn't even know that was a thing until you said it. Then I was like, of course that's what it's called. Yeah. So interrogation montage, go. The objective that I want as the authority is to sow distrust among you and to cause all of the youthful offenders, that's you, to be shunned by the other students at school because they are afraid of getting into trouble. You get to choose one of these three hopes. Be seen as heroes by most of the school. Trick the principal into believing that you intend to behave better and receive lesser punishment. Or humiliate the principal in some way. Humiliate Murphy in some way.
Humiliation. I like laughing at people.
See, again, I feel like why did he even write the first
Yeah.
two options?
Right, yeah.
Virtually everybody has chosen to humiliate the principal.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
I don't fault them at all,
Yeah.
really. When you read it out like that, it seems so obvious to me, right? So
I mean,
I think it's going to
actually-
change in the final document.
Yeah.
To give you some other more enticing options. Other
It's a
than just,
choice without a choice.
you want this, or something really cool.
Well, in this specific situation, we can always just state we're living up to Murphy's Law, the actual anything that can go wrong well. So here we are.
I have a completely different hope personally. So
Okay, what's your hope?
my hope is to annoy the principal.
Well,
I think humiliating him would do that.
Yeah. All right. So the three hopes are eat 5 uncooked beans, go plant a tree, or humiliate the principal.
Are they magic beans? Because if they're magic
Yeah,
beans,
no, I
they're
know.
not
Magic
magic
beans,
beans.
man. Hard
And the
to pass
soil is hard and tough. So humiliate the principal it is. Round robin is in effect. Violence is ugly is in effect. But now we've introduced a new rule, and this is the resistance token. Whoever wins this round loses the resistance token. The resistance token can force a re-roll during a struggle. So it's pretty valuable. And then up until the last scene, whoever loses the previous scene will get the resistance token. Right now, nobody has it, and we'll deal with that later. The principal is imposing and intimidating, but he begins by speaking softly to put you at ease. Please come in, have a seat. It seems we have some matters of law to discuss. The principal does not sit, but looks down upon you as you do. You have such incredible potential, he says, but it seems you've fallen in with a unlawful crowd. These friends of yours are leading you down the wrong path. Perhaps we need to take pains to separate you so that you can all learn better how to obey Murphy's Law. And as the authority says this last line, they claim the number 3 on the struggle board. Now, who's going to stand up?
Set up.
Do it. Roll the dice.
Eyeballs literally went so far back in my head when you said Murphy's Law. Like, I don't know how I'm ever going to see again.
You did this.
It's
This
great.
is your doing.
I know. That's
Can't
what
roll
makes
your
me
eyes.
You named him. I gave him the Murphy's Law line. We're all
This
to
is
blame.
getting me back for Sunday nights and all of the puns that Sarah has to live with.
Since we all know Rem hates puns, it is
Yeah.
part of my personal mission to use puns as much as possible. Much like swearing, which we're not allowed to do here on
No, don't do that.
PG Gen Con TV. Puns are, however, allowed. we will make generous use of puns. Might as well call it generous pun con TV. That didn't come out right.
Yeah, that's
Let's
real.
keep on. We lost the plot. All right, who stood up?
Jay
It
stood up.
was me. And I rolled an
What
8.
conviction are you using?
I am using trusted. Righteous.
All right, how are you going to use righteous to get what you want to try and humiliate the principal?
He is going to stare at him, unblinking, to try to establish dominance, and he's just going to be like, "You have nothing on me. You have nothing. I've done nothing wrong. You over here like trying to lord over me is actually kind of pathetic. Like, why am I even in this room?"
All right, switch back to Principal Murphy. Well, you know that I do, as it turns out, have something on you. We have quite a bit on you. Our eyes and our ears are everywhere. Clack, clack, young one. Who's going to stand up? I'll choose number 9.
Me.
I should have chose number 7, but I said 9 first. We'll go with 9. I
Well,
heard
he
a
rolled an
me.
8, so I don't. Oh wait, yeah, that is. Yes, me.
All right,
Char
all right,
standing
me.
up.
Roll it up.
10. Whew.
Woohoo! All right, which conviction are you using?
I'm going to use smart and point out that you actually don't have anything on us. You can't prove that there was any intent on. I forgot your character's name, Andrew.
A panda.
Panda. You can't prove that there was intent on Panda's fault. It was just a mistake. A miscalculation, as it were. And you cannot prove that I had anything to do with it at all. Nor BT, for that matter. She was... Let's be honest, she was trying to play the peacemaker. And... you just don't have anything.
Flash back to Principal Murphy, crosses his hands. You know, your parents are going to be so disappointed in you when I reveal to them just how bad of a person, a child, a student, a human you are. Who's going to stand up after I claim number 11?
I'm going to stand up.
Stand up. Roll the dice.
Oh, here we go. Please be good to me, dice. Oh, I got an
Woohoo!
8. Wait, 8 is good because that's one of ours.
8 is
Yes.
good because that is something that has been claimed by your fellow youthful offender. So now you get to choose your conviction, but also who grabbed that number 8? Who rolled the 8 before? That was Golden Boy.
That was Jason.
Yeah. So Golden Boy used his trusted conviction. So you choose a conviction, and along with Golden Boy's trusted conviction, you get to make up the story about how you use those things to humiliate Principal Murphy.
I'm going to use my illicit cybernetics conviction, and I'm going to listen into another room where in the teacher's lounge they are watching old episodes of Gilligan's Island. And anytime the principal tries to say anything to me that is a question, I just start singing the theme song to Gilligan's Island. adding in a lot of like and just kind of like eye rolls, not even like looking at the principal like at all. It's like ignoring.
So it turns out as you're doing this,
3-hour tour.
as you're doing this, right? The principal sort of stretches his back, puts his hand back on the desk. Unbeknownst to him, he switches on the intercom, and he and the rest of the school just hear this weird rendition of Gilligan's Island. And he eventually gets so frustrated that he starts yelling at you and berating you.
And what's even worse is it's the first 3 seasons before they had given Marianne and the professor their names. So this is like deep cut Gilligan's Island theme song too.
Yeah. And he gets so mad that he ends up cussing you out. And the whole he's like Chris. He just can't hold back his swears. And he's so embarrassed when parents start calling in about his behavior that he gets sort of bad rep. All right. Let's see. Andrew, why don't you choose the reflection question for this scene?
Oh.
Actually, no. I'm sorry. We don't do the reflection. This is actually quite a different one. In scene 2, we actually ask what's called the episode question. So we've already started ourselves on a trajectory towards the end of the 5 scenes. By the end of the 5th scene, we are going to, whoever wins will be able to answer this question however they want to. This is sort of the big question that the entire episode, the one shot, is asking. So what do you think, what do you want to have answered definitively by the end, right? We might think of something like, well, I don't know. Cliff, why don't you sort of guide the discussion? I don't want to put ideas in people's heads.
Well, let's see. Just it's sort of the big question of the episode. Like, will the heroes win the day? But
Yeah.
more specific than that. Like, will the youthful offenders? I don't know. What will we be able to do something? Will something happen to us? Will we be able to pull something off?
Yeah, like will King Corp have support, or
How about will the youthful offenders get the kids of the new high school united in their disruptive defiance? That's too long of a question.
Yeah,
will we start the revolution?
What about
How's that?
will we be able to cause Kingu Corp to lose faith in Mr. Murphy there as the principal?
Oh, that's a good
So
I
one.
like
his
that.
reputation
That's a
gets
good
tanked.
one. So
Mhm.
make it all about Murphy, right?
Mhm.
Will Murphy have
Yeah.
a
His
job?
reputation, make him lose his
Murphy had
job.
a job when the
Full recess here, people. Full recess.
Yep.
Will wait. Will the worst happen? There's a joke here. There's a way to frame it.
Will Murphy succumb to Murphy's Law?
Yeah. pretty
There
much.
you go. Okay, fine. All right. So that's
you, Ava.
yes, that is the end of that's the end of scene 2. I've been told by our sponsors that we need to take a little break here. So we'll come back very shortly, let's say 10 minutes, for scene 3 of our premiere show that is called the One Shot Show. And we're playing Misspent Youth, Fall in Love, Not in Line, by Fragging Unicorns Games, which is now live on Kickstarter. So if you want to support it, go to remalternis.com/MisspentYouth, pledge a whole lot of monies, real world monies, and we'll see you back here in 10 minutes as we finish off the scene 3, 4, and 5 when we come back.
Thank you, Tan.
Hey, friend folk, welcome back to the premiere episode of the One Shot Show. Each episode, we're going to give you a one shot of different RPGs, see if we can't be big darn heroes, even if it's only for just one night. Tonight, we're playing teenage punks standing up against injustice with a game called Misspent Youth, Fall in Love, Not in Line by Fragging Unicorns Games. Live on Kickstarter now. You can find it at remalternis.com/misspent Misspent Youth. I've been told that you are obligated to donate thousands of dollar monies, or if you don't have 30 thousands, then $30 will get you the new buck. If you don't have any money, then I'm told that Fragging Unicorns will give you one for free. I am Opti, and we have with us Chris, Ava, Andrew, John, and Cliff. They're playing Teenage Rebels at their brand new high school that is funded by a corporation. We're heading into scene 3. There has not been a food fight, but they have humiliated their principal. And at the end of the episode tonight, we're going to find out. We're going to answer the question as to whether or not the Principal Murphy succumbs to Murphy's Law.
We're going to go full on rock and roll high school.
Yes, things have been rough for our youthful offenders. Regardless of you humiliating Principal Murphy, you have still been punished for your behavior at school, maybe even possibly severely. But tough times have a way of bringing people together. So it's time to realize that things aren't all doom and gloom. And you might discover that you might even have an advantage over those Kingu Corp tools. Now, we're going to go all the way back up. And remember when I said that you get to choose an exploit, something that helps you fight back against the authority? Well, I'm going to allow you to choose one of the following 3 exploits. First, the Anti-Corp Gang. Before Kingu Corp bought the neighborhood, there were a few small gangs. These gangs were generally considered a public nuisance. There was a brutal crackdown, but the ones that survived formed a new gang, and they only recruit people who don't work for Kingu Corp or have been demonetized by them. In addition to illicit goods that you'd expect them to sell, they've managed to establish a secondary market for basic staples as well: food, medicine, even toilet paper. They don't accept money, but only trade and barter and favors. Instead of using it as an opportunity to profiteer, the gang has made it into a community endeavor. If you're doing pretty well for yourself, you can expect to pay high prices to them, but if you're destitute, you can expect to pay very little. The gang has earned something of a folk hero status, and they are no friends of Kingu Corp, but they are also dangerous to people that they see as a threat. If you thought demonetization was scary, you don't want to see what happens to people who betray this gang. So that's the Anti-Corp Gang. That's choice 1. By the way, chat, we are going to let you choose. So you choose which of the 3 exploits that we're going to be choosing, and which that we'll be working with, that the youthful offenders will have access to. And once you've chosen, we will move forward. The second is the Breacher Collective. These are the hackers. Tech is designed to work for the corporations, but it can be hacked or breached, as we call it around here. Your neighborhood has an underground community of breachers who share secrets, software, and even hardware with each other as they seek to get better at hacking the world. It's easy to get into breaching if you know who to ask, and you know who to ask. That's number 2, the Breacher Collective. And number 3, Lawjack Traders. Lawjacks are a corrupt organization, subverted from their duty to protect and serve the people by their even more corrupt authorities. They perpetrate injustices on behalf of the wealthy and powerful, but some people are drawn to the ideals that the Lawjacks were meant to live up to. When most of them become Lawjacks, they end up as corrupt as the rest of them, but some few are trying to make it work, to do their best to restore the honor that the police never earned. They're still complicit, but they're trying to make things better. They're in constant fear of their superiors and coworkers, but they're determined to find a way to work against them. But even the slightest signs of being a traitor to Lawjacks is a death sentence. Bad things can happen to a cop on the job, especially if the captain decides to make it so. That's number 3, the Lawjack Traders. So, chat, help us out. Give us a vote. Are we going to have the exploit of the Anti-Corp Gang, the Breacher Collective, or the Lawjack Traders? You answer that, and we will obey your wishes. Somebody besides me is going to look at the chat and tell us.
Yeah, no pressure. By the way, it's just
I guess
all
you
of our
could say the
characters'
chat
lives.
the chat is the real authority on the matter.
Yes, chat, you are filling some big shoes here.
I'm kind of digging the
A couple
TP
going
gang.
so far.
The Toilet Paper Gang!
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's funny. Billy Berserker. Was he the first one to chime in?
That sounds like something Billy
Yep.
would say.
Toilet paper gang. Okay, it looks like. Oh wait, no.
He already
Oh,
voted.
You can't.
for-
Yeah, you can't vote more than
Tom,
once, Teslin.
Tom, quit.
Get out of here.
Well, to be fair, he is going with
To
what
be
he voted
fair.
for. Like, he wants to go with the breachers, so he's trying to use technology to, make it.
That's
Like
not going to work. I'm seeing the toilet paper gang as the clear winners here. All right.
Yeah.
So you the toilet
Great,
paper gang.
the toilet paper gang.
The
Here we go.
anti-corp gang. Should we call them the toilet papers or the TP gang or something like
I
that?
think the TP gang. Maybe they toilet papered people's houses, but also they
The
make sure
papers
people have
could
toilet
work.
paper now.
Like,
All
see,
right.
let me see your papers.
I don't know what that means, but we'll go with it.
Oh.
The TP gang.
I guess it's a
So-
Legend of Five Rings thing.
They're definitely 3-ply.
TPG. All right, here we go. This scene starts in a different setting because presumably you guys have you're somehow being punished, right? So are you spending all of your time in study hall? Are you have you been expelled from school? Are you hanging out with the gang, right? Describe to me what you've been doing this last week, whether it's on school campus, off school campus, at home, with each other, right? What have you guys been doing together and where you are now? Actually, before we do that, let's Ava, did you do the last friendship question? I
Yes.
think you did. Okay, Andrew, can you
Yeah.
choose a friendship question and somebody to ask it to before we get started with the
From
scene prep?
my sheet.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Let's see. I think last time I asked this of Chris, so I'll try to pick on somebody different. Let's see. Which? What did you help me steal, and why did you help me?
I helped you because it was fun, and
like that.
it was good tech to use. So I got amusement, and you got tech, and maybe later it ended up in me somehow, in my arm or something. So you
Phrasing.
never know.
Raising.
Is how you get amped.
I mean, they are teenagers.
All right. So
I
now
do like tech, and Witch has a lot of tech, so.
I do have a lot of tech, or maybe I don't. Maybe it's all a facade. You'll never know.
in the first two scenes, I described to you what was going on, and set the scene and sort of gave the scene a push. This time, I'm going to back off and let you do that. You are going to tell me collectively what's going on in the scene, what's the thrust, and where we're headed, and what you're talking about. I'm hands off now. Tell me what's going on. Where are you at? Who are you with? How you been?
So, are we still serving our punishment by the school
Mhm.
at the moment, right? So,
Or maybe not. You tell me.
Yeah. So my idea, depending on what the rest of you like the idea of, is that our punishment was cleaning the cafeteria after school. And with that, since we need to bring in the toilet paper gang, is we're trying to use that after school access to allow someone from the gang behind the counter as an in to give the kids who can't afford food food. So they can still go through the line and just get free food.
Oh,
I like it.
we're gonna have an inside man.
I like
Yeah.
it, but
All right.
yeah, it's good. So
Right,
we're
so-
at the cafeteria doing a bunch of cleanup work, and we're just
Mhm.
about to
And
let the
using that
TP gang in.
access to try to get a gang member as a secret hidden.
I imagine we're not
Or-
completely
yeah.
unsupervised though, so it might be a little
Right.
touch and go letting the gang
Yeah,
in.
it might
so
not necessarily go to plan, but
maybe that's what we're
how
up
these things
to.
work.
It sounds like a good purpose for the scene to me.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty easy to like distract someone watching if you start scratching up beautiful new surfaces to look like the old surfaces at the old school. And I didn't really care that they just bulldozed over the old school. Didn't care for that at all. But you know what's kind of interesting? New walls can look like old walls if you have enough motivation.
It's just like, what? You told me to scrub. I just kept scrubbing. I mean,
I just kept scrubbing. You know,
wanted me
if
to
you didn't
remove
say I
the
had to use
crustal?
yeah.
You didn't say I
can't-
couldn't
Supposed
use
to
steel wool.
knives to clean. No one told me I couldn't use knives to clean.
I can't believe they've been having us clean the cafeteria every night for 2 weeks now. This is so unfair. There was a mess one day. Why do we have to clean it every day?
I mean, just go ahead and just use some elbow grease. Wax on, wax off.
No, I'm
You
not
can
using elbow
also-
grease, guys. I'm just.
You could also
I spray it on. I take a break, let it do its work, and then I come back and just wipe it up.
If you want to amuse yourself, you should look underneath some of the tables.
All right. Given my height, I've seen what the tables look like on the underside, and it's not good. So I don't suggest that on anybody. Unless
Ugh,
you
I
wrote
thought these
something
things were
funny under
new.
those.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought those jokes were hilarious. You know, there's a lot of different ways that you can have fun with.
There's a
with the
lot of
word
little bits of
murder.
graffiti under these tables.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is supposed to be writing?
Yes, that's supposed to be writing. I'm sorry, I didn't have time to get my quill out of the shop.
You're
I thought
what?
they were hieroglyphics.
I'm still amazed at how much chewed gum is under these new tables. That didn't take much time at all.
Ugh.
Panda says as they're scraping gum off of the underside of the table.
Oh, here, allow me. And Char just kind of like waggles their fingers, and it's a little prestidigitation. Just pluck that gum right off.
Oh,
And it's
All
gonna
right, see now
form
that,
itself into a ball.
that's pretty awesome.
At
Have-
a certain
Could you
Go ahead.
put that ball on the principal's seat?
I was actually going to suggest prestidigitating the gum right up the principal's nose, but you know what? That's pretty good too.
my goodness.
Wow.
careful. We're still in the school. It has
Yeah.
sensors all over the place.
I
Good.
feel like that
place
would
is
land him in the
wired.
hospital.
Um,
They do listen to everything.
as you say that, you hear a voice behind you say, "Hey, don't talk that loud. They have voices, or they have ears everywhere." And you turn around, and there is a hunched over orc standing there, and they're sort of pushing a cart. It looks like a I can't even think of somebody who cleans things. What are they
Janitor?
called? Thank you.
Janitor?
Custodian?
For goodness sake.
Custodian, janitor.
Right, a janitor, an orcish janitor, who's got a beard and sort of a short haircut, and he says, "Hello, I'm the new janitor, or custodian, the orc custodian here, and I'm also
three-ply,
your
right?
what's that?
Your 3-ply, right?
Yeah. As it turns out, I'm your new contact in the TPG.
Ah,
So I've got the goods. I just
Oh,
need
no.
one of yous to make your way to the bathroom, because you need to go potty, if you know what I mean. And my
Is this
boys will
cool?
meet you in there.
this is making me feel uncomfortable already.
Is
Are
this
we
code
really
for
working with these
like
guys?
And
We're gang members.
three
Criminals.
Three-ply makes his way out and just sort of winks at you when he shuts the door behind himself. Now there is, a couple of adults that are standing around, but they don't seem to be paying attention.
We're going to get in even bigger trouble.
I'm
Only
saying,
if you get
Gang
caught.
member.
You always get caught.
are we standing up? Or are we in a?
No, I'm
No, this is
introducing
narrative
Oh,
still.
okay.
introducing a narration.
Always get caught.
I don't want to, take advantage of you. There's no
I
for exploitation.
mean, you
going on
might
here.
think I always get caught, but
But you don't see what we
To be
do, and you don't
fair-
get caught.
exactly.
Oh,
If
that's
I did
supposed
get
to make
caught,
me
you
feel
would know
better.
about it. So
Yes.
I'm gonna pick up a push broom and then like start, sweeping my way towards, the door, and then when I get there, I'm gonna like be he thinks he's gonna be natural, but he's gonna be kind of obvious and be like, yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom, and just like kind of like
That's a,
leans.
that's a signal for you need to go to bed. That okay.
Seriously,
right,
we're really doing this?
right when you push the door open, you hear Three Ply just yell, "Hey, get off of me!" And you turn the corner just in time to see a Lawjack just smack him with one of their shock maces, and he looks at you and he says, "I didn't say nothing." And that's going to start our third struggle. What I want to happen is Three Ply gets the absolute stuffing kicked out of him, and your connection to the toilet paper gang is made explicit. What do you all want to happen?
The opposite of that.
Yes.
if you win, that will not happen. But
Right.
you have to have your own hope, which I mean, you
Yeah.
could mess up school records, or you could, rally people in support, or whatever you want to do. Or if you want to keep going this direction, right? I think you already have a sort of narrative direction to go, but you can choose whatever you want to as your hope.
How about we somehow manage to get some relatively clear access, or maybe the TPG gets access to, for a critical moment, Mr. Murphy's office.
All right.
Yes.
We're able to use this as a distraction to like get even more done that we were hoping to.
Yeah. I like
All
that.
right. That sounds good. I will remind you that since I lost the last scene, I have the resistance token. So I can force a reroll whenever I want one. But also round robin and violence is ugly are in play. So let's get started. As the shock mace comes down on Three Ply, it strikes him in the back because he sort of turns away from it, and he's trying to get away. But the Lawjack has seen him. He's seen the look that he gave between you and the youthful offender. Was it Golden Boy who stepped out? And he heard the dialogue. So now he's suspicious, and this only probably gets uglier from here on out. So I'm going to choose what's it? Scene 3. So I'm choosing number 4. And who's standing up? I think I
Me.
saw
And
John was gonna. Yeah.
I stand up.
Roll the dice. Roll the dice.
Oh, yes, I gotta roll the dice. Oh, he's with the dice rolling.
That old witch just be like, who's standing up? Oh, that's yeah.
I
Every
got
time.
a 6.
All right. Now choose your conviction and tell us how you're gonna try to use it.
My conviction I'm going to use is I'm going to use my full outrage. And I'm not going to use outrage and violence. I'm going to try to go for meta book outrage. I'm going to whip out my phone, even with its like cracked screen, because I don't have the most updated phone. And I'm going to start filming the Lawjack and like narrating this happening and trying to use meta book to get people to like look at this happening. And like I'm talking loudly. I'm basically shouting, look at what this Lawjack is doing. Look at what they're teaching us at this school, kind of thing. And I'm doing it loudly enough that if I can distract the Lawjack, that's super. Because I'm not mad
awesome.
about getting it. So.
Yeah. So you got your cell phone out. You're recording. The Lawjack is distracted by this. In fact, it seems to infuriate him, and he points to you and he says, "No recording. That's against Murphy's Law." And he begins.
You're not my real dad.
He begins stomping up to you, and he's raising that mace like he's gonna use it.
I stand up.
Hold on, let me grab number 7.
You're not my real dad.
Dang it,
Pheasants.
Chris.
All right, who's standing up?
Probability is against us.
Did I see somebody standing up? Okay, Chris.
Mm.
4. Oh, 4. I've already got
All right,
that number.
You can take him.
Alrighty.
Let's use that kung fu.
Now
You'll be
you
fine.
can all decide to stand together.
Nope. Only the person who rolled a 6 before gets to decide that.
Oh, that's right. So
You have to have something on the board to stand together.
All right. So Witch, you can stand together if you want, or you can take the loss, or Jace can sell out.
You two can take them.
Could I fill out one of mine
No.
instead?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Well, outrage is one of my convictions, and so I'm all for standing up. Like,
Stand together.
yeah, I'm all for
Okay.
standing together in this. So,
All right.
Oh.
So how do you use your outrage to? Well, let's see.
Something. Sorry.
What's that?
I should stop.
No, you're fine. Jace, what were you?
With this, first the person says how they could use their conviction and it's not enough, and then the other person says how they use their conviction to step up and help.
Right, Jace. What conviction were you going to use that didn't quite end up the way you wanted it to be?
I was going to use Yojin training.
Okay, so tell us how you were going to use Yojin training, but it didn't quite work out the way you wanted to, and then Witch will tell us how they stood with you and kept you in it.
So as the law jack is bearing down on my friend with the stun baton, I was going to do like a jumping like roundhouse kick and like do like a blast of wind to like knock the baton out of his hand and like hit him in the face with it or something like that.
And how did it go wrong?
It like I kind of hit it and it didn't. I hit it, but he didn't lose his grip on it, and it went towards his head, but not quite enough to hit him, like to zap himself with it.
All right, and then how does your friend Witch salvage that situation? That's on you.
Do
Witch.
I say that, or do
that's on me?
Yeah.
That's on
Okay, no, that's on me. I come from. I don't want to say the wrong side of the tracks, but if we're doing a Glee analogy, I come from Limelights adjacent. So I have absolutely no problem getting involved in a scrap. And so, like, I know that if I initiate violence, bad things will happen to me. But if I'm filming a law jack and I get in the way of that taser baton, like, I have some cybernetics, so it won't hurt me as much as it'll hurt the orc in my mind. So I'm like, I don't know if it's noble necessarily, but it's like forcing the lawjack's hand by getting deeper involved into the fight. Like if the lawjack is going to come after me.
Perfect. And Cliff, how does the?
I mean, not for me. Like it's not perfect for me by any means. It's not a perfect situation.
How does the stand together work when
now,
they use it?
Now they get to choose any open number to place a token on.
All right. So, or is it Jace that picks or Witch?
Those two get to decide.
Okay, so you two decide what number you want to choose because you use stand. Now you can't use stand together again. You've used your one for the episode, so no more of that.
Okay, so 7. I mean, no, 8 rather.
Perfect. I keep telling Cliff he can do it, and I keep doing it myself. So I'm a loser. All right. Well, unfortunately, something awful has happened. The last conviction that was used, that is by Jace, was used to do violence on the lawjack. It failed, but the lawjack recognized it as a kick to the head using Yojin powers. And all of a sudden, he is not nearly as friendly as he was before. So he says, I was just going to knock that darn camera out of your hand, but now it seems like you want me to knock your heads off. And he swings away and knocks the absolute crap out of Golden Boy. And the shocks run through his head, and he slams up against the lockers and just sort of like, and your head is pounding, and he has an absolute look of murder in his eyes as he turns to Witch and he says, your turn. and I'm going to claim number 9 and 10.
Ooh. All right,
I stand up.
You're doing it. All right. All right.
Yep.
Get in that smoke wagon.
You beat me to it. Go ahead.
7. Oh crap, 7.
Oh no!
Oh.
You've landed on something I've already chosen. You gonna sell out, or you gonna take the L?
You know what? BD is gonna sell out.
Oh, what conviction are you gonna use?
I was gonna use optimism, but I'm gonna sell that out to cynical.
Can you
Normally-
read that? What cynical means?
Yeah,
Thank you.
optimism. BD believes that she can make things better and knows what needs to be done, but it sells out to cynical. Your vision of a better reality is twisted by the realization that it will never come true. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see Golden Boy getting beat down. I see the guy going after Witch, and I'm like, they're the fighters. They can take it. We need to get something done here, and so I use my optimism and I hook Panda by the arm and look over at Char and say, "Help them!" And then say, "Come on, we can." Come on, that's the lawjack that watches Murphy's office. We can get in there. Tell me you brought your cyber kit.
Stop saying it out loud. Just stop mentioning it.
That's why I'm whispering. And so while my friends are getting the absolute wreck beaten out of them by the lawjack, we make our way and use that as a distraction to get into Murphy's office, and my brother gets to do some hacker stuff.
Yeah.
The results of which may be revealed perhaps in a later scene. But we got our extra objective done, and I think also the logic kind of forgets all about that the orc janitor, and the TP gang kind of gets there in just fine. But some of my friends might be in the hospital. I don't know, but yeah, they could take it, right?
Right?
Yeah. So 3-ply sneaks away while the attention is on everybody else, but the rest of you get your absolute heads pounded in by a lawjack swinging that mace. It isn't pretty, and you are not okay, but you have found your in. You've gotten into the principal's office, and you can make stuff happen. Now we'll enter into the reflection phase of scene 3. Andrew, on page 20, there's some reflection questions.
Page 20, you say?
Or at the end of scene 3. Whatever.
Yes. All right.
Pick one of those and ask one of your friends. If anybody else wants to ask a reflection question too, please feel free, but the only one I'm requiring is from Andrew.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with Char. What has changed about how you view one of the other YOs? One of the other youthful offenders?
Well, I rather thought that BT would be the last one to abandon those that required help. And honestly, what was I supposed to do against the lawjack? My magic doesn't work very well against technology. And you took the one person who could have fought against that technology to somewhere else.
All right, moving into scene 4.
Can I ask? I want to ask the question. I would like to ask Jace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jace is I want to ask, what have you learned about your beliefs and values from having what has happened to you?
In every scene so far, it seems like the lawjacks have just come in and just trodden over people, just like doing non-threatening, innocuous things, and it kind of makes me sick to my stomach, being that's what I've been training to be my whole life, and that's what my dad has been pushing me towards, and I hate that crap. Do not like. And so my beliefs are changing radically as we speak. Thus, me willing to kick this dude in the face.
I'm gonna throw it and ask a question of myself as what has changed about how, or rather, what has changed about how you view? I'm gonna go with the other YOs. I just thought they were more powerful. I thought that leaving 3 of them with 1 Lawjack, like the Lawjack was going to ultimately have the bad time. I didn't really think I was leaving you to get your asses kicked. I mean, I, as Cliff, knew that, but BD didn't. she had every expectation that like that Lawjack was going to get its head chopped off or something. I don't know. But yeah, so and she's surprised by just the beatdown y'all got, and it's going to take her a while to process that. She thought you could beat up. She thought you guys were like goddamn superheroes, but turns out you're just kids like me.
The
All right.
Avengers.
We're going to come around to Panajon. Your turn to ask a friendship question heading into scene 4.
Sure, you betcha. Char,
Hmm.
what band or show is the guilty pleasure we both share?
No, they both definitely have bonded and watched the Golden Girls reruns together. Yeah, that's
Really?
definitely their thing.
I feel like this is an oddly 80s television themed episode of Misspent Youth. Gilligan's Island and Golden Girls.
Oh, God.
It's cool. All right. I'm down. I'm here for it.
You sponsored by TV Land.
Sponsored by very, very, very old television shows.
Whatever it takes to get the Kickstarter funded, to be completely honest, whatever it takes.
I love the Golden
All
Girls.
right. So, in the aftermath, I mean, that was pretty cool. In some ways, you found an advantage over the school, or in particular, over Murphy, and you have some plans as to how to use it. What are you doing to celebrate that win that you've got, but also maybe to recover those of you who need to? Maybe the celebration isn't quite what it could be, right? if you had made some different choices. But tell me what you're doing and what your next steps are. And how long has it been since the beatdown / principal's office heist?
Yeah, it's been it's been about a week. I'm still very, very hurt, but it's mostly my pride and the concussion, but still mostly my pride.
I've decided that if I'm gonna get trounced about just for having my phone out and filming, my outrage conviction, it's kind of it's not something I expected, but my outrage conviction's like doing that. So there's kind of a there's more of a like a news anchor quality to which that starts to come out, where they're just like they're kind of filming and asking people about things, and it's like a mix of kind of don't care who hears and also like fomenting rebellion. And it's just like if I'm gonna get trounced for this, then I'm really gonna commit to it. So
What else can they do to me?
What if we're sort of all getting together so we can all learn some Yojin moves?
Yes.
That sounds pretty
It's
good.
always best to arm your friends, with knowledge or Yojin training.
That's a great
not?
idea.
No,
And
I like that.
in fact, chat, the folks who are watching, if you want to level up your training in rebellion, you can type you could type hashtag RemPC in the chat, and
Yes.
that will enter you in the drawing to get a free Misspent Youth book, and
Yes.
that will help you to train. It may not make you a better fighter, but it sure will make you a better rebel and maybe even a better person.
That was
Carry on.
amazing.
Shameless
That was
plug. No worries.
amazing.
It's not a shameless plug. I'm the one paying for the
We're
book.
giving things away.
That's just, hey, I'm helping you to get free stuff. Type in hashtag RemPC in
Help
the
me
chat.
help you. I got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
There you go.
Help me, help you, help me.
Story wise, I feel that at the moment, like, we got the TP gang into the principal's office and access to whatever information we're able to get from there on the principal. But the rest of us have no idea what that information is yet because the gang has it. So we're still unsure of whether or not we even got anything worthwhile from that whole situation.
Hmm.
What are you
Okay.
So
doing
we
next?
did a big sacrifice, and then we're like, well, we have no idea if it was worth it.
Yeah. How do you figure out if it's worth it? What do you do with it?
Yeah.
I'm asking you.
Ah.
Well,
Tell
you-
me.
It
you-
was we gotta wait for the gang to let us know if there was anything useful.
Well, here's the
I
cool part
mean-
about Misspent Youth. I am not the one who gets to say that.
Right.
You can make that up right now.
You seem really jazzed about it, Panda. Like you seem like really jazzed about it. So I think you should go and see what information they have for us.
I mean, I could. I was wondering if anybody had any ideas as far as what information it might have been.
I don't think we know what it was. It's probably
Mhm.
everything he had, though. You got a data tap installed on his personal computer, didn't you?
That was the
Or-
idea, yeah.
Okay. I thought so. So yeah, there's got to be something in there. He's a total jerk.
Just go
I
ahead and
know.
It probably
I know.
takes time to sift through it all, though.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it might take them time to sift through it, but Panda can
Right.
crack that stuff in a jiff.
I mean, I could definitely try my hand at sifting through it a little bit faster than what they might be doing.
Say,
I mean, I could do that while you guys are, training the, moves or whatever.
So yeah, there's talk of training. Char is literally like in a corner with a book, and they're adding to this conversation. They're just like kind of look up and speak over the top of their book, and then they're right back down.
well, I'm curious though. Like, Jace, your dad's a lawjack, right? You're in like the lawjack cadet program. That's how you learned all these fancy things. Like,
Yeah.
What did he do? Why did he let that slide? Like, that lawjack got in trouble, didn't he? Because he was totally out of line.
Like no, like we kind of take care of our own. They kind of take care of their own. It's kind of weird. I used to think of myself a part of them for so long, but now it feels so odd. Yeah, but yeah, they kind of look after their own. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's fairly par for the course for them.
So,
Yeah, it's not surprising.
unions and whatnot.
Well, it turns out that your dad has been made aware of what happened. Your dad, the lawjack, because when a lawjack beats up a lawjack's son, that doesn't stay, that doesn't stay to itself, and so there's been a sort of there's been some whispers, there's been some chat, there's been some chatter, some talk, and you hear from your father that there's going to be a crackdown because the blame cannot be placed on the son of a lawjack. That would be a problem. So the blame is squarely coming down on the TP gang.
Ugh.
And since all of your hopes for setting up this sort of alternate, this underground chuck wagon are resting on the TP gang and what they can bring to the table, this impending. I mean, like, it looks like the Lawjacks are going to war, but none of the rest of you know this. But Jace, you're aware, like you're hearing the conversations, like, all right, get your riot gear, put your masks on, right? Maybe even we need to, put down the maces, and do we need the guns? No, not the guns. We'll keep the guns, and they're looking like they're about to stomp. You probably have 30 minutes after you hear this conversation before the TP gang gets absolutely obliterated. And because this scene is called We're Losing, I'm going to claim 5 and 9. And we're going to start the struggle. What I want to happen is this. I want the TP gang to be absolutely obliterated to the point where having them as an exploit is only in name only, right? I want them to be afraid of helping you. I want, every time you go to them for help, it's they look down on you. They are afraid of working with you. They don't like when you come around anymore. What do you hope happens?
Do we get the
feel
resistance
like-
token now?
Go ahead, Ava.
Mm-mm.
The
Go ahead.
resistance token always goes to the loser, and I sold out to win. So
Yeah, I feel like a good hope for us here is that the TP gang becomes too big of a threat for the Lawjacks to take on, basically. They become more of one of those exists, but so long as they're not directly messing with us, we ignore them for the Lawjacks. They become...
the Lawjacks fear the TP.
Well connected or hidden or interwoven into society.
Yeah, well, the TP gang just become too costly to deal with, let's say.
No, they upgrade from the TP gang to the TP cartel.
Oh my God.
The TP Costco Value Pack gang.
The TP gangs from other areas come together.
Come out and
This is my brother from up north, the Sandpaper Gang. Oh, this is my this is my baby brothers,
an entire pack of TP.
Vegetable White Gang. Hey, it's the Paper Towel Gang.
Yeah, and the Lawjacks' efforts to crush them only serve to galvanize more resistance.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the paper revolution.
And it'll cause a lot of trouble coming down the pipe.
Oh, I think that one was for Sarah.
Don't laugh. That encourages me. That just encourages me. Don't laugh.
Good. All right. So here we go. I've played 5 and 9, and you hear the click, clack of the Lawjacks coming down the road, and it looks like they're headed directly towards the TP gang territory. Who's going to stand up?
I'll stand up.
Oh, what are you doing? Roll the dice. That's what you're doing.
Now we all know that
You can't
Lawjacks
stand
are
up
coming down on the
rolling
gang,
the
right?
dice. What's that?
We all have knowledge that the Lawjacks are coming down on the gang pretty hard. Right?
How do you roll 2d6 and get a 1, Chris?
No,
You
I
rolled
accidentally
1d6 twice.
twice.
Magic.
So
That's
that,
how.
2 ones, and that equals
2
2.
ones.
All
So,
right, we'll take it 2.
Elemental kung fu magic.
Indeed. I will be
What?
using Yojin training, and then
All right.
so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do like a massive sweep and then raise the like earth bend the ground up to like barricade door shut and like cover windows and whatnot. I'd be like, they're coming in.
All right, so you have gone to where they were headed, got there before, and have sort of reinforced the doors to the TP
Yeah.
gang's hideout. Oh, that's awesome. Outside you hear, Chase, I know that's you. This is your father. What's your father's name? The Lawjack captain.
Jackson.
Jason Jackson. No, it makes sense.
Jackson is his first name or last name?
First name, last name is what? McMahon, not McMahon. Is it?
McMahon, yeah, that's right.
McMahon.
Yeah, McMahon.
Jackson McMahon, all right. Son, I'm going to give you just this one chance to come out. before I tear this whole place down. You're not the only Yojin we've got. And at this point, you see the earth that you've raised up, right, start to glow with a molten glow, and it looks like it's heating up and starting to fall down because likely they probably have some either some sort of fire Yojin on their side, or maybe even a mage who's more than equal to the task of tearing down what you've built. But it did buy you some time.
Yeah.
And I will claim number 3.
I'm standing up next.
I would. Oh, dang it!
All right.
I want to stand up.
I didn't
Yep,
get you to
yep.
stand up the last 2 scenes.
Stammering is not enough. You have to say, I'm standing up. Or just roll the dice.
Son of
Right.
a.
That's a that's a 5.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it is.
man. Unfortunately, I already have a 5, which means that
Yeah.
you can't stand together, which means either you lose or you sell out. I'm personally okay with you losing
All right.
because I could absolutely do a number on the TP gang here.
No.
All right. I'm gonna sell out,
I'm equally okay with that too, because you're one
and
step closer to becoming like me, the authority.
yeah, I'm gonna sell out my arcane studies because this is actually a fairly blatant use of Char's abilities as the earth shield walls, whatever, start coming down that Jace had put up. Char spreads their hands out in front of them, spreads their fingers out, and just a mist starts covering everything in the area, giving hopefully time. Well, I'm selling out, so it does. And covers everything from the lawjacks. They can't see anything. It muffles sound so that it sounds like it's coming from everywhere at once and gives time for everybody to GTFO.
All right. Everybody bails.
Yeah.
Everybody gets away. How does
Yeah.
that make your hope happen? So you have foiled what they wanted pretty
Right.
easily. How do you leverage that into making the TP gang grow and get support to such that they become endemic and that the Logix can't get rid of them?
That is the question, huh?
That this situation gets accredited to them and is put on the news.
I have an
For such
idea.
a big display of power.
Rumors start spreading that they have powerful magics on their side.
So instead of
Also,
it being towards us, the entire TP gang has this much magical power.
And then their power grows.
All right, so
That was
rumors
my
start
idea.
to spread, right, of powerful, unsanctioned magics,
Yeah.
right? Because Neo Babylon guards magical secrets quite heavily. So the rumors and things of magic that they haven't seen before. Oh no, this TP gang has some weird magic to it. They've got unauthorized witches. What can they do? I don't know. What if they can do more than we can handle? So yeah, they become sort of a spooky TP gang.
Yeah,
I don't
they
know.
become like the
Do we-
boogeyman for the Law
Ooh.
Jacks.
No one wants to
Yeah.
mess with them.
Do we want to go over what my arcane study sells out to?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, so it sells out to unauthorized magician. The authority has become very suspicious of your unauthorized use of magic and is watching you very closely.
Right. So now
Yay.
you've got some eyes on you.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Why don't each of you narrate how you are recruiting actively for the TP gang after this scene? Before we do the reflection, how are each of you recruiting people actively for the TP gang to
think
join their ranks or to support them.
Yeah,
What the frick?
yeah. Just say yes, sir.
Wow, the real life authority didn't like that at all.
They're like, oh no, you guys can't be doing this.
Insane.
We're back.
Yay!
So,
Yeah, the
chat,
fight off authority took them
we
answers.
tell us what was the last thing that you heard, so we can get back to correcting the mistake. The authority seems to have not liked what we were doing. They kicked us off their servers.
We were getting too close to the truth. That's what it was.
But thankfully, we have Panda, who has breached their servers and brought us back. So what was the last thing that you had, chat? What was the last thing that we did? Did you see the sellout? Did you see the aftermath of the sellout? I assume that you did. But I'll wait for chat to tell us
Yeah.
where we've been. And essentially, Char has sold out their conviction from Arcane. What is it?
Arcane Studies.
From Arcane Studies to unauthorized magic. Why don't you read that one more time for us, Char?
Yes, so unauthorized magician. The authority has become very suspicious of your unauthorized use of magic and is watching you very closely.
All right, so we
Being
used.
watched.
So Char used that to, basically used unauthorized magic to get the TP gang out of danger. And now word has spread that the TP gang has someone who has access to unauthorized magic, and that has given them a sort of mystique around town. And now each of the youthful offenders are going to describe how they have sort of gone their separate ways for a little bit and begun to recruit more people for the TP gang. So, Chris, tell us what Golden Boy is doing to recruit more people. And how does this make you feel as a son of a lawjack?
I feel a sense of renewed purpose, right? And I feel like I'm gonna use this
He
training.
will do that for you.
Yeah, I will use this training for my own ends and for the benefit of community, people around me. And so I will be recruiting people to the TP gang by showing them how they too can manipulate wind and fire and earth.
And heart.
It's in training. The heart is the most
Together
important.
we are Captain TP.
This is Dystopia. We don't get Mati. There's no Mati in this universe. That's the problem. They get the gloves
monkeys,
instead of the rings. They
no
have the
heart
gloves.
rings.
They have the power gloves from the bad guy.
All right. Char, what are you doing to recruit people to the TP gang?
Yeah, so Char is kind of reaching out to those connections that the few that they had made and maintained after they were suspended, and bringing in some other talents, magical talents, so that they have something to back up those rumors when I'm not around. So they have been reaching out to other pages that they knew that were training and perhaps were not happy with or otherwise malcontent, incontent,
Discontent? Yeah.
discontent. That's it. Yes.
Yeah. So the rumors are actually becoming a little bit more true, right? Like
Yes.
the rumors
Yeah.
that they had some unauthorized magic. Well, if that's the rumor, like let's
Make it true.
Let's make it true. So yeah, their ranks have been growing with people who are using unauthorized magic, and maybe you're even, teaching them some of that.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Panda, how are you reaching out to draw people into the TP gang?
Well, I am using what information I can get on those that work for the corporation, including the ogre that works at the cafeteria and the principal, as much as I can. to find irrefutable proof to the Lawjacks that they are with the gang. To not only sow the idea that the gang is interspersed inside a bunch of different places, but also once those people get excommunicated from the corporation, the gang's the only person there to take them.
That checks out. When they get demonetized or when they can no longer work for Kingu Corp, they have nowhere
Their
else to
only
go.
hope
Right
is
into the
to
arms of the
be in the
TP
gang
gang.
that the people already think they're in. So
And also, they can flush their cares right down the drain.
yeah,
That
Right.
joke
that
was
is
on a
Panda's
separate
big plan.
level.
Jonabon, what are you doing?
Jonabon, I like that. I'm going to use that on Friday nights now when we do Friday night game night. Friday night game night at Rem.
That was a very clever me just switching the two around.
No,
No
I
more
love it. I'm not
Panajon?
mad about it at all.
Panajon?
It's usually Panajon, but Jonabon, I'm not
It's all
mad
pretty
about.
good.
So here's the thing about Witch is that they are an angry person, and so they're actually a little miffed at Char for doing something really cool because then they didn't get a chance to do something cool, and they had like a whole plan. So instead of like recruiting people to the TP game through traditional means, Witch figures out a way to just get a whole bunch of like Lawjack cutouts and strategically starts playing trash cans near them that people then can throw trash at and onto the Lawjack cutouts and leaving them in ways where Lawjacks will definitely like see them irrefutably. So it's not so much recruiting people to the TP gang as it's just creating, a little bit of a biohazard in the city that is their shining
It's
Kingu on
recruiting
the hill.
people via morale.
Yeah, it's a morality.
Producing
Associating-
awareness and
Associating
And if a
Lawjacks with
couple-
garbage. Yeah.
And if
exactly.
a couple of those cutouts happen to be the Principal Murphy, and people
Right.
happen to throw trash at Principal Murphy once in a while, that's okay. That just happens sometime. It's human judgment.
And Cliff, what was your PC?
Beatty.
How was Beatty doing some recruiting?
So Beatty's going to go with the religious angle. She's got the connection to Nanshi, the goddess of justice, and a bunch of other stuff. But she's going to go ahead and start making up these little pamphlets, these tracts that sort of harshly criticize the actions of the Lawjacks for beating the people they're supposed to protect. And since these are, Lawjacks can be sort of hyphenated, shortened to Jacks, I'm going to call these Chuck Jacks tracts, because that's what they're advocating everyone to do, to chuck the Lawjacks out. And I'll be distributing these and recruiting from the impressionable youths at the youth group that I attend at church.
Nice, I like it.
Chuck
The Chuck Jacks tracts.
Oh my god!
Excellent.
That is chantable too, by the way, as like a big crowd. Chuck,
Is it
Jack,
chantable?
Chuck, Jack, track.
That's great. And sometimes there's a confluence where you'll see some of the Chuck Jack tracks thrown at the Lawjacks near the trash cans. So, yeah, all over town, the Lawjacks are just getting a bad name. But you know what is not a bad name is #RemPC, which if you type into the chat, will give you a chance to win free copies of Misspent Youth and the expansion Misspent Youth Sell Out with Me. Absolutely free, just by typing #RemPC in chat.
Now, Opti, what is the difference between Fall in Love Not in Line and Sell Out with Me? Can you explain that for viewers that don't know what those words mean individually?
I could. We did an interview about this right before we started, but I would be glad to share that with you right now.
Well, we have a hard stop in like less than 20 minutes. And
Yeah.
I thought it was an hour and 20 minutes.
Is it?
Oh, okay.
We've got plenty of
Oh,
Oh,
my.
yeah.
I hadn't realized I had signed on for such a long stream. Okay.
Well, you did.
we sold out early, so
Yes.
so normally a scene takes longer because there's less
Well, it
Is that
depends on how
so?
you
I would
roll.
take it.
Yeah.
But no,
it's a role playing.
yeah, I don't mind taking just a moment. So the original Misspent Youth game was the first one to come out, written by Robert Bowl, and that one has a longer scene structure. You create everything. It doesn't hold your hand as much. It sort of throws you into the deep end, and you create everything all together. If you are seasoned narrative role players, that is an incredibly fun and rewarding experience. That I've enjoyed a number of times. Sell Out With Me has basically a number of scenarios and settings and some special rules for different kinds of games. So if you wanted to maybe not make your own setting, you could just grab one of these settings and go. And some of those settings have alternate rules. Like, for example, there's one that has rules for making Misspent Youth about a punk band. And the Authority is not the Authority. Authority is another punk band, and you're sort of, trying to, keep your morals as you navigate the music, the punk rock music scene. So that's Sell Out With Me is a number of scenarios written by largely diverse people of color and queer folk. So that's pretty cool if you want to support that. Fall in Love, Not in Line, which is what's on Kickstarter right now, is a different sort of way to play Misspent Youth, and it's geared towards bringing people in who maybe are used to more traditional games, not the narrative games, or maybe who never played role-playing games at all. So, and again, we have now at least 3 different times people have tried to play this with people who have not had any role-playing game experience at all, and it absolutely went amazingly. Everybody had a really, really good time. So Fall in Love, Not in Line creates what are called pilot episodes, which are settings, but they're also sort of like a pilot episode of a TV show. It sort of gets you into it, right? Sort of sees how well you like it, and it holds your hand. It tells you all the information you might need to know so that you know if you want to keep playing or not. So what Cliff has done, and this is Clifton Lambert here, who is playing Beatty. Cliff basically has written out a script for this setting, which is the Neo Babylon setting, and has created a bunch of different rules to help things go smoothly, to make the initial scenes go quicker and smoother and more fun, and then to sort of gradually lift the reins off as you go on. And then I lost my train of thought. But yeah, this is essentially just geared towards getting you to play as quick as possible. And so the other folks who are writing, including Ava, are writing scenarios. They're also going to be writing the pilot episodes, right? Which is sort of just the initial. No?
Nope, they're
Okay, I was
writing
wrong
the
about that.
setting idea, the Authority, and the Youthful Offenders.
Okay.
And
But
my
not
job
pilot
is to
episodes.
implement that into the pilot
Oh, you're
episode
gonna-
structure. Yep.
Gotcha. There will be pilot episodes.
There will be pilot episodes for each one, but yeah,
Okay. There will be pilot episodes for each setting.
I just wanted to make sure Ava didn't suddenly realize,
freaking
what?
out.
I'm doing that too? Cliff didn't say anything about
I
that.
was under the impression that I was, and I was excited.
Okay, so essentially what I'm saying is there will be pilot episodes for each of the settings in Fall in Love, Not in Line. The scene structure is brought down from 7 scenes to 5, so to sort of get things as simple as possible to get everybody into the story and start taking ownership of it as soon as possible. So again, things are bite-sized. Your hand is held, not in a demeaning way or sort of diminutive way, but in a way that sort of gets in a helpful way. Yeah. In a way that, like, if you do it and you don't say, hey, I'm dumbing this down for you, which is not what you should do, right? Yeah. But if you just do it as written, people who have never had the chance to role play and to get into character find themselves doing it very easily without having to think too hard about it or get self-conscious, right?
I'm trying to justify having gotten a master's degree in post-secondary adult education. So, I have no use for that degree, no practical use whatsoever for that degree. But using some of the educational theory and other ideas to make role-playing games easier to learn is
it sounds like
goals.
you're streamlining it to make it more digestible to people that aren't typically role players.
Yeah.
So or people who are typically role players that are used to a game that tells you, now roll initiative, now roll this, now roll your damage.
That are very structured and literally by the numbers.
So now
Yeah.
you can update your CV to include produced manual for adults in imaginative rebellion. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that'll go over real well on job application.
Your LinkedIn will go nuts. All right, go. Now we're going to enter the reflection phase for scene 4. Why don't we all take one of these reflection questions? These are on page 22. And everybody take a reflection question and pick somebody to ask those reflection questions of.
Something I want to bring up is you can ask a reflection question of yourself as well and then answer it.
Yeah,
because it's reflection. You don't have to though.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna ask Golden Boy. What do you want to do next?
What do I want to do next?
Yeah. What do you want to do next?
Golden Boy wants to, he would really want to have a giant potluck where everybody brings food and eats it. I don't know. No, he doesn't want that. That's just Chris speaking right now because he's pretty hungry. But no, like what Golden Boy would want to do is after all of this, he would definitely want to figure out some kind of way to stick it to Kinku Corp for actually, yeah, he still wants to stick it to Kingu Corp. Yeah, let's leave it at that. I have no idea exactly how.
okay.
So,
Yeah, Chris, why don't you ask a reflection question now?
alrighty. What has changed about how you feel about one of the other YOs, BD?
Let's see. I guess I wasn't. I'm a little bit surprised that Char was willing to stick their neck out on the line so much by using their magic like that. They've got this old money and the rich, stodgy parents, and they're usually not the rock the boat type. And I'm one to not rock the boat typically either. But I guess we're all sort of being pushed in new directions by this injustice. And I guess I didn't really expect Char to come along for that far.
Speaking of Char, why don't you pick a reflection question?
Sure. Wait. How do you feel about what just happened?
I think that was
I'm
Witch. How
angry.
do you feel about what just happened? Right, okay.
Yes, it was.
I am angry that I didn't get to do cool things. It's actually made me more resolved to do something awful in the next scene. It's kind of hit up to both my convictions for self-reliance and bad at the same time. Like I don't know exactly when I decided I was going to be the heroine of this story, but like I am like toasty bitter that I got my face bashed in by a lawjack, and then one of my friends who's rich, by the way, a youthful offender with much more money and means than I've ever had, because I'm from an adopted family who doesn't care about me. Like I'm like toasty bitter oats a little bit on the inside. Like I'm pushing myself to a sellout without even knowing I'm doing it. Like it's a quick run toward it almost, really.
So yeah, you're
To be
the outrage
fair.
bad one. To be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair, my parents are rich. I am not.
Well, also, I just feel all the feelings, and usually they end up in a ball of anger or like injustice rage. But like sometimes when you just start, like when you're 15 and you feel all the feelings and they all matter at the same time, and anger is just what I go to. That's my thing.
All right, Panjabon.
Yes. I would like to know from Panda what has changed about how you think of the authority.
Well, I never really had much respect for the authority in general, but after everything that's transpired right now, they're definitely a lot more brutal than I thought they were. But I also feel that they're more easily manipulated than I figured that they would be. So it's a mixture of being more scared of them and also a little less scared at the same time. So, like, physically, more scared. Intellectually, not as much.
Fair enough. And Panda, why don't you pick a question? A reflection question.
Yeah. Hmm. I feel like this is a general one to the group if I'm able to do something like that to the other youthful offenders here.
Why not?
With everything going on right now with the recruiting of the TP gang, everything we're trying to do with the principal and the school, what do you all, I guess, envision of what we want to do next with this?
I want to say let's have a block-sized food fight. Just go full
Or just a
circle.
citywide food fight?
I think I want to take down the principal because you guys got your ass kicked so we could get that
Yeah.
information. And I'd like
Yeah.
to see it put to use. And so far, the TP gangs are benefiting a lot from us. What have we gotten from them?
Yeah.
They're sitting on our big win and not doing anything with it. What the heck?
Exactly that.
Hmm.
Alrighty.
Sounds
I
like
like
just
you're
want
all
revenge. I'm just here for revenge of all kinds. I liked the old school, okay? I didn't need something new and shiny. I want my chalkboards back. I want my old AV back. I want
It's all
that.
about this. It's all about
I
the
want that-
school.
I want
Low
that
tech school,
basketball. I want that basketball hoop that didn't actually come down. Like that was my basketball hoop. You can't just take away a person's basketball hoop.
You
The
don't
one
like
that
the
had no
digital
net.
ones they have now?
It's the worst.
Where
Digital
it
is
just
the
generates
worst.
where it's supposed to be? I
this-
mean, there's no repair. Okay. Maybe
There's
we'll
this-
agree to disagree on that one.
Odd juxtaposition between Witch having all of this internal cybernetics and just absolutely hating all the new stuff outside. Technology
Well, that's
belongs in your body, not in your school.
No technology in the gym. All the technology in your eye.
I love it.
All right. So now we're going to head into scene 5, which means our final friendship question. I believe that's going to fall on Cliff. Who hasn't asked a friendship question yet? I
We
thought
all
Cliff
asked one in
maybe
the beginning.
Yeah.
Ava was the first one. I don't
done
think I've asked one since.
Well, it's either Chris or Cliff. I don't remember who.
I thought I started off the friendship questions.
Oh, did you?
All right, Cliff. Doesn't matter. Ask another.
All right. Well, I know I've only asked one, so I'm going to ask.
While Cliff is thinking about it, don't forget to type in hashtag RemPC for your chance to win free copies of Misspent Youth and Misspent Youth Sell Out With Me. Absolutely free. Just by typing hashtag RemPC in the chat, you see. Please go, Cliff.
All right. I'm going to ask Golden Boy, what is the thing you like most about me?
BD, I really like how you look out for other people, even though it can be a little annoying at times. Your heart's in the right place, and you have a decent sense of justice about you, and I respect that a lot about you.
Even after I left you back there with the law jack? Oh, that's a follow-up question. All right.
No follow-up friendship questions. Yeah.
I can't do that after I give Sarah so much crap for it on Tuesday.
There's a anyway. So you were on the defensive a little bit, but you turned out to win the day and bring things around. So now you've got quite a powerful exploit in the TP gang. But Kingu Corp is not giving up. They have reached out to the school and have begun talking with the Principal Murphy. Now, you are being recalled back to school. You are no longer on expulsion because Kingu Corp has forced them to let you back in because, well, you're creating too much trouble. And they believe that the best way to keep you out of trouble is to bring you back to school. But
And I said the opposite, so.
But not just any school. You are in school separate from everyone else every day. And except for temple time on Sundays, you are required to attend Saturday school as well.
Ooh.
So, Saturday school, apart from everyone else, where you're just put in a room and you have to wait for hours and hours and hours while things, while the
Oh,
day
good.
just goes on. But you're
I can
together.
catch up on my reading.
So as boring as classes normally are for me. Got it.
Yeah. So you're sitting in Saturday school. It appears as if Principal Murphy has your number, is keeping you there, keeping an eye on you. In fact, you know they're keeping an eye on you because the little camera up above you keeps moving back and
Whirring.
forth whenever. Yeah. So what are you
Every
doing?
once in a while, I feel Panda will sit there and wave at the camera.
What are you doing? What are you talking about? How you feeling?
This blows.
Well,
we don't deserve this. This is even worse than being expelled. Like, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. I'm leaving. And I'm going to get up and walk toward the exit. I'm not going to follow the rules if they don't matter.
I'm
Char
waiting
is.
after you.
Go
Char.
ahead.
What the frag? They locked us in?
Yeah,
You know
Char
what?
is
Hey!
like in their chair, on the back, 2 legs, feet crossed on their desk, and they've got a book open. They don't even care.
You know, I think I got an idea. Hold on. Is there a way that Panda can take that camera feed that they have and loop it back to him?
You could
Don't
basically
ask,
say what
just
you
tell.
do and do what you want. Yeah.
That's what Panda's going to do. Panda's going to just loop the feed back to him so it looks like we're all still in Saturday school and in our chairs. And then we're going to do a straight up, 80s movie style breakout.
All right, you got your screwdriver on you?
Oh yeah, I can get this door open. Don't you worry. That's fine.
We must.
Does it work? Do you get the door
That's what
open?
I'm going with.
Yeah, I guess we get
I'll
the
do the
door
loop.
off.
I'll
What do we
go
do now? I say.
Do my little skills on the door and get it unlocked and start making our way out.
Yeah, the door squeaks open and you turn the corner and who do you see but 3-ply? And he says,
Free fly.
Hey,
they let me keep my job. They don't know as much as they think they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know as much as we think we do, too. I thought you guys were going to hook us up.
Well,
yeah, we got you a lot of publicity. I'm just saying.
takes time. Time makes gangers feel like they've got something real. You and me, we've got nothing but time. But time won't give me time.
I get right up in New York's face and go, no, time is up. You tell us what you got, and you do it now.
Right. Yeah, you want something to happen, you make time for it to happen.
Well, that's all well and good, but just if I were you, I'd get back into their in the classroom there. They've got lodjacks all around that perimeter.
They still think we're in there.
Oh well,
It's fine.
I'm just saying, be careful when you head outside. And we're working on
says-
the underground chuck wagon. Don't you worry.
Who says we're heading
leaving?
outside?
Oh, hey, if you're not, hey, don't let me bother you. I didn't
Because
see
you
nothing.
see, the trick is they left us unattended in a school. They left me unattended in this building. And that's not a good thing for them.
Ooh, you're bad. And
Yes,
he'll
I
just
am.
go
I'm starting
back.
to think we just let Witch do whatever they think that they're going to want to do right now. I'm kind of interested in where this is going to go.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
What do we do next?
He goes back to mopping.
He's got that sort of
depends.
like fun, like excited bounce that like the kid who always follows the rules starts to get when they first start breaking the rules on purpose.
It really depends. What do you hate most about this place?
Murphy?
Ooh.
Well, Murphy has an office here, and the
His
office
laws.
is probably very precious for him.
And you do have access to the office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got in there before though. And
Yeah.
we
I
should
mean,
probably
we could easily get in there again. Uh,
Again, and Panda, you
Yeah.
have the ability to broadcast messages, right? There's an intercut
I
system in
would.
there.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Take his browser history and broadcast it.
I don't know if
Yeah, I
that'll
like that.
work. I mean that Murphy was watching the cameras. He's still gonna be watching the cameras. He'll probably be in his office. We'll probably have to do a distraction or something. But if he knows we're out, I don't know.
Hmm.
I mean,
Do we
you
wait
need
for
a
his
distraction. A fire. You can never go wrong with fire.
Well,
you can
one
never
thing we
go
could
wrong
also
with
do as a
fire.
distraction, I mean, all right, so do we want to do what we want to do to his office and still sneak back into the room and act like nothing happened? Or do we want to just blow the lid on the fact we got out of the room and use that as the distraction? Because then the principal's going to come running down to that room trying to figure out where we went.
Oh,
Oh,
blowing up the
that's
toilets.
brilliant.
I like that idea.
Sure that he would, if 3-ply was right, he would likely send the lawjack, not
That's a good
come himself.
point.
So what
Not really
you're
really
saying is we need
that's
lots
cool.
of fire.
Well, yes, I mean, you set a fire, or you trigger the fire alarms, and they would
we
evacuate
able
the
to do
building and
actual
his
fire?
office. I can do actual fire.
What if the lawjacks can't get in? Because they want to lock us in, right? We can still do damage. And the
We could
lawjacks
lock them
outside,
out.
We can lock them out. And then we can do whatever we want.
But then they would have to damage their own school to get in.
Yeah.
Then we're going to need to get to the security office. There's going to be at least one lawjack in there, but they're usually not suited up like the rest of them.
Could work.
Why don't we split up?
All right.
Some of us can do some distractions. Some of us can get to the security room, and some of us can get to the office.
Yeah.
Who needs to go to the? I think
security room.
Yeah.
I'll
Kind of thinking
back you up
security
there.
room. You want to back him up? All right.
Yeah, you're going to have to do your thing in the office.
Yeah, I'll go to the office. If you want there, Golden Boy, if you're able to get the security guy out of there, you could just try to take his uniform or something and take his spot.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Is he tall enough?
I mean, I'm sure he can pull off the way a lawjack walks and talks.
And you see you see Golden Boy like straighten up a little bit, like just milk every inch that or centimeter. Whatever. Are we in metric now in the future? I don't
I
know.
don't think so. It's ancient Babylonian, so probably all using the weird 6-based math stuff.
Just saying, they're likely to
Totally 4
recognize.
stones tall. What did you say? Eva?
Stones was a weight
Whatever.
measurement system, but all right.
Depending on the stone.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. So what do we want out of the office this time around? Because you two are going to
Something
the security
decisive.
room.
We stole information last time, and maybe we didn't get anything good. Maybe we need to put something there and make sure it gets out.
Yeah, the like broadcasting on the intercom. That.
Or all over Metabook.
What if we make it look like the principals facing off against the Lawjacks in some sort of ego power struggle?
Yes. I'll do that.
And
I'll
bring
take
it
Would it be hard to
what
manufacture that
audio
to actually
recordings-
happen?
Well, no, I'll take what audio recordings I can from the principal's interrogation that went over the intercom, and which is video feed, and just splice things together to make it look like the principal's arguing with the Lawjacks over the intercom.
I like it.
And just
I'm gonna
broadcast
go and
that all over
destroy the
Metabook,
cafeteria.
all over the school, pretty much as
Ooh.
far as the signal can go.
So here's a
We're
hint.
gonna-
If I haven't declared a struggle yet, you guys are free to narrate whatever you want.
That's what I'm gonna go do. All right.
All right, let's
What
take over the school.
distraction did we decide on?
Well, that's
We're-
between you and
something's a-
Witch.
Yeah.
Well, do you
I
want
thought it
them
involved
locked
fire.
out, or do you want to set off the fire alarm?
Why not both?
Because if I'm actually setting a fire, you don't want the doors locked.
Well, no, you lock the doors, but then you set off the fire alarm, but you don't actually start. You could like hold a lighter up to it. You don't have to.
Why don't you just
start
make
with-
smoke? Can you do that?
I was just
smoke
going to
with
go
no
to the
fire?
cafeteria and start destroying things.
I'm just
and see
saying,
what
locking the
happens,
doors
so.
and then setting a fire is a bit redundant because the fire would unlock the doors. It's a safety
Would it?
feature.
Oh,
It is.
that sucks.
Even Kingu Corp has those.
Yes.
Well,
But
let's just
Liability.
let's lock them out so they have to destroy the doors at least, and then I'm just going to start destroying things.
Are you able to just make smoke? Because
I
that'll
can-
also set off the alarms and give us some cover without threatening our lives with, actual fire.
I can do that.
Okay.
Or I can just trigger the sprinkler system to give you the cover without setting off the fire system,
Okay, all right. You know what you're doing.
and we can
You know
still
what
lock the
you're doing.
doors.
Right, so
where are
outside
you-
of the security office,
I'm
Are you-
gonna
are
head
you-
off
have
to
you been
the
walking-
principal's office.
Are
Yeah,
you
outside-
walking through the
Guys
halls
sneak my
now?
way.
outside
I'm
of
gonna
the
sneak
security,
my way to the principal's office. Yeah.
Okay.
And kind of hide, wait for the signal with the fire alarms for principal to leave.
Right. Cliff?
I was gonna say outside the security office, BD sort of knocks on the door to get the person to come answer the door and distract him, hoping that we'll sort of get the drop on him and Jace will be able to knock him out.
As he comes out of the door, he's just gonna like leap on his back and just gonna just go to
He's like-
sleep.
All right. Now I will call for a struggle. So here's how I see this playing out. Um, What I want to have happen is for you all to no, let me say this. I want you all to be permanently banned from the school. No. I want you to all go to the purgatorium where you are forced to work off the debts that you are about to incur from destroying the school that was just built. So you will
don't
be
work off
there. basically like working off in a jail type setting. You'll be working off all of your debts. Your parents will be demonetized for being associated with you, and basically all of your friends and family will suffer because of your foolish and selfish actions here. What do you guys hope happens?
Well, not
Not
that.
that.
I hope
We
they rue the day they
want-
built this darn school. Rue.
I believe our goal here is to
Ah.
completely and utterly ruin Principal Murphy. Get him. I don't know. Or is our goal to have him fired or demonetized? And completely lose
Have
everything.
Kingu Corp turn against him. Or is it? But the question was, will Murphy
Will Principal Murphy
suffer-
succumb to Murphy's Law?
succumb to Murphy's Law? That's what it was. Yeah. Will the worst thing happen? Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely want to. I think we definitely want to turn Kingu Corp against Principal Murphy.
Yeah.
That's
What
what
if
we want to
make
manufacture.
everything that we're essentially doing all seem to be blamed on the principal?
You don't have to say how you do it, just what you want to happen, and then the
That's
how will unfold. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the end plan. Is the principal will get blamed for everything because he's supposed to keep order in the school, and he allowed all this to happen.
Okay.
And if
Sounds good
at
to me.
the end of that, one of us can stand behind him with a giant bell going shame, shame, shame as he's drummed out of the city, even better.
All right.
Personal
So
goal right there.
this is scene 5. I'm going to
This is make it or break
claim
it.
number 6. As you open the door, you get the drop on the lawjack who was watching the security. That all goes very easy. But then you all get dings on your phone. And you all look at your phones, and there is video of you sneaking through the hallways because you didn't loop the hallway cameras.
Oh,
And everybody associated with you, friends and family, is now being demonetized and losing meta points. And who's going to stand up?
Hold on a sec.
I'll stand up.
You didn't mention the special rule thing.
Yes,
for the
we have a
scene.
special rule for this last one. So the resistance token is out of play for the last scene,
mhm.
but there is a rule for the very last scene called desperate circumstances. This is a desperate battle, and you're going to have to put it all on the line if you hope to win. When the authority takes their turn, they claim 2 numbers unless the young offender that just stand up used a sold out conviction or their disorder. If a youthful offender stood up using their disorder or a sold out conviction, the authority only claims 1 number.
Well,
There you
I'm
go.
Stand up.
standing up. I'm just going to stand up because I have nothing to lose at all.
All right, I will let Bonapan, Bon John Pan, go.
Bon John Pan. Bon
They
vivant.
were first before until I
That sounds like a
interrupted
very
this to mention
classy
the rule
name,
thing.
Bon John Fan. Like it.
Bon John Pan.
Where is my before I roll? Where is my disorder? I know it's on here, but I'm
Disorder's the
disorder
last one.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's under the friendship questions? No, it's not under
No.
friendship questions.
Nope.
It's before the description.
Yeah.
So there's your
It's your 5th conviction.
Oh, my 5th conviction. Oh, okay, I see. Because it
Is your
wasn't
disorder.
bolded, so there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, that works out really well for me. So I'm gonna roll. I roll 2 d6s. We're gonna see what happens. I got a 7.
Nice.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you use your conviction to try to get what you want?
And I can reuse convictions. I don't have to use one I haven't used, right?
You can only use 1 conviction per. You can't reuse a conviction
In the same scene.
in the same
right?
scene. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Well, I'm gonna use. I'm actually gonna use self. No, wait. I'm not gonna use self-reliant because I can't sell that one out. I don't think that happens. I'm gonna use bad.
Okay.
I end up in the cafeteria and I start working at the sign, but at the last minute, I know there's boxes of food and they're not letting people have boxes of food. I want to take some of those boxes of food to the various bathrooms and start shoving food down the toilets and just like wrecking the toilets in the school, and like if not everyone can have the food, nobody can have the food, and it's all gonna
That's pretty bad.
all of the cheese sauce, like there's meatballs going everywhere. You've got that like
Oh
breakfast
man.
square with the square sausage pizza just like on the mirrors, just like yeah, if not everyone can have the food, nobody's gonna have the food.
Man, you have spammed the toilet with
Literally, if
with
there's
messages
actual
of food. We'd also like to see everybody spam the chat with hashtag RemPC for your chance to win free copies of Misspent Youth and Misspent Youth Sell Out with Me.
when will that be? When will we be deciding who wins that?
End of the show.
Wins that
At the end of the show. Yeah. So
Yeah,
by the
get
end of
your
the show,
meta points while you can.
type in hashtag RemPC. All right. So the toilets get stuffed as this has been going on, right? You're flushing the toilets, the water's starting to overflow and just going everywhere. So now this sort of because there's a lot of toilets and because you were quite efficient about it, there's now water starting to form both on the second floor and the first floor, and it just starting to be like a sheen of water everywhere. And there's a commotion, right, coming from the principal's office. What did you do to the principal's office? I forget. Anything?
I was planning on doing something, but if I can stand up, I guess I was going to change it to.
Okay, hold on real
respond.
quick. So as water seeps inside the principal's office, you hear Principal Murphy shout, What in the Sam hell is this?" And basically starts panicking, and you hear him slip, and more dings on your phone as everything starts getting blamed on you, from the water in the school to you becoming to you being juvenile delinquents to it looks like in real time the principal typed they've broken my hip.
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
The criminals. And I will claim number 8.
All right, yeah, I'm.
That was not my strongest authority power move, but
It was great though.
All right,
It was
so let me roll.
that's all right.
Right?
Yes, roll first.
Mhm.
Murphy is not the most
3.
intimidating.
I got
authority.
3. So in
What
my
conviction?
response, let's see. I think I'm going to go with smart. And do I have the option to sell out to not have you get anything, or is
Nope.
that already done?
Nope, you can only sell
Not
out
for
if
this
you
one.
land
Okay.
on
If I land, okay, never mind then.
Yep. The only way
So
to
my
let
plan is to take the current posts of us going through the halls, him slipping on water and everything, and essentially illegitimize all those by making it seem like the actual dates on the videos of us doing things are far older or fabricated.
Yeah,
And what
nice.
he has going on is a completely different date, and show that he's on his computer in his office making all this happening, and completely illegitimize anything he's doing, to where he's doing like a last ditch attempt to try to use Metabook against us to save his career.
I like it.
Like that.
I have like a
Yeah.
24 screen going on. Like I'm just imagining like
Hacker against
Um,
hacker. That's what I'm doing right now.
So it works. I mean, it doesn't immediately,
Right.
reverse everything, but you can see that the demonetization has slowed down and eventually in the next few minutes has stopped. Unfortunately, also in the next few minutes, you hear the telltale click, clack, and the doors open. Those of you who are downstairs hear the doors open. Maybe if you're in the bathroom, you don't hear this, but the Lawjacks open the door and they look down because their feet are getting wet. And they take a few steps back, fire up their shock maces, and plunge them into the water. Whereupon every one of you just gets an absolute shock through your entire system because you're all standing in an inch deep water by this point. So you all sort of thankfully the shock maces don't have unlimited power, but you're all pretty jolted, and now you know that the Lodjacks know you're in there, and they could probably do this at any time if you start something. And I will claim number 4. Who's gonna stand up?
And 2.
Oh, right, because you didn't use a sold out conviction
Or your disorder.
or disorder.
I will stand up.
I have an ally among the youthful offenders. All right, roll those dice. 9.
Yeah.
What conviction will you use?
I will use yeah, I guess yeah, he's shocking us, so I guess I will use Yojin training to redirect the shocky water, like to break the line or whatever, so it's like a dry patch between the current and us, so it's not zapping us.
Golden Boy makes like Moses and
Right,
parts
yeah.
the water.
Makes it so the path of least resistance isn't into our bodies.
Which conviction did you use?
Yojin training.
All right. And you haven't sold that one out, right?
No.
It's not a sold out conviction. It's not his disorder. So yeah, that means you get to claim 2 numbers instead of 1 again.
The Lodjacks now see that their ploy isn't working, so now they begin running. Click, clack, click, clack, click, clack, click, clack.
Sure, we got the principal pretty good though.
Yes, and the principal has not been posting for a few minutes. He's like broken hip, lying in electrocution water. Just when he wakes up, I'm sure that he'll be blaming you all for all of it. But
Can
in the
like
meantime,
a little frozen meatball just float by his nose or something like that? Just like a frozen meatball from the toilet just floats
Half
by.
thawed.
but the Lodjacks turn the corner, and they, in various scenes, right, at different parts of the school, like one of them turns the corner and just, smacks one of you, let's say, near the security office.
Yeah, big Beatty, who's sort of running out to cover for Golden Boys who keep doing stuff in the office.
Yeah, so Beatty just basically takes a shock mace to the shoulder and just gets pummeled down, and
Right.
and which sort of gets kicked in the stomach as soon as they kick in the door of the bathroom, and somebody else gets an elbow to the face, and so you're all just sort of getting beat up by the onslaught of the Lodjacks coming in. And I'll claim numbers 10 and 11.
Stand
They
up.
get cheese sauce right in the eye.
I think I heard Cliff say they were standing up. Okay. Roll up.
Oh,
Roll
there's
out.
only 2 numbers left.
8.
8.
So here's the thing: we're sitting at we have 1 point. The authority has
we're
1.
1 and 1.
We win ties. If I sell out, it doesn't count towards a win or a loss. So if I sell out, we win the episode as well as the scene. If I don't, we lose both. So
What you gonna do?
Your only hope.
all right, I'm going to sell out Baru Guardian. So the description of Baru Guardian is that BD showed an aptitude for temple teachings and has formed a strong connection to Nanshi, the goddess of justice, also of protection and fishing and the water. The bird symbol is actually a pelican that is tearing open its own chest in order to feed its young. But also Nanshi is represented often by the fish. At least prior to stuff that didn't happen in this world. So through this connection, she's gained access to some sacred magic that can be used for healing as well as rebuking those who cause harm. But Baru Guardian sells out to self-righteous crusader. I have no patience for people who disagree with me and don't spare any empathy for them as I force them to do what I want.
Oh,
so as this lawjack strikes down someone who is connected to Nanshi in a very mystical, sort of holy way, the goddess reacts with her justice and retribution through the element of the water, which is of her own domain. And the lawjacks are all pulled screaming down into the drowning depths where they were just up to their heels before. But every single one in the building is swallowed up and drowns and is never seen again.
Oh my.
And this ultimate like there's no way this can be pointed at the kids. It's like a weird, creepy, unexplained thing that no one understands.
It's
And
an
the
act of God.
Yeah, and that
Their insurance covers acts of God.
Like their entire way of swinging back at us, coming at us with people to beat us up, is just absolutely undermined, and the principle is under our power. We're able to just transmit what he wants. Maybe we can get him to we even have a conversation with him and show him what happened. He just gets freaked out and admits things, and just it all goes our way. But I sold out by having my goddess swallow them up.
I'm not gonna lie, having a goddess give an entire police division a swirly, literally. I would give
That's
any and
thing
everything.
right there.
All right. So you've reached
That was hardcore.
You've reached the end of scene
Yeah.
5. You got what you wanted, and you've won. As ties go to the youthful offender. So you get to choose the answer to the question. Did Murphy fall victim to Murphy's Law? And what does that look like?
I think he biblically fell to it.
Yeah.
I think it's not so much that he's discredited by Kingu Corp, but that his sanity is shattered
Oh yeah.
by
And in
what
time,
happened.
I'm sure King Corp would be like, all right, we got to get this crazy guy out of here.
Yeah, not even in time. He leaves to be hauled off, somewhere while he's raving, and
He
yeah.
gets a straight jacket and some shock therapy, more so later on.
So as a result of winning, right, this is a one shot, so we're only going to sort of talk in terms of the things that we can talk that we can do with one shot. If this is a longer campaign, you might choose differently here, but at the end, if you've won, you get to choose to either destroy a system of control, destroy one of the authority figures, or you can create a new exploit for yourselves. So, adding one of the ones that you didn't choose at the beginning, right? The Breacher Collective or the Lawjack Traders, or you could even create your own. If this was a longer campaign, you could redeem a sold out conviction instead of, one of those other options. So which do you think you want to choose? Get rid of a system of control, get rid of an authority figure, or get a new exploit?
So while the obvious choice might be that we're getting rid of Murphy, we could actually pivot to something else if it seems cooler, and he could always still come back next time.
Or it's just a new principle.
This is a one shot.
Right.
There's no show called Two Shot.
I think it would be cool just for the flavors that there is a new exploit that shows up, the Cult of the Swirling Bowl. That comes up.
They team up with the TP crew, and
yes, the TP crew in the Swirling Bowl become this.
These are the religious wing of the
2-in-1 shampoo and
TP gang.
conditioner. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That is way too good.
Now we need another episode where we never mind.
No, actually,
Never mind, I'm not gonna go farther.
And the swirlies.
Yeah, I should say this as well. There's really no reason not to, again, since we're not playing a campaign. But if here at the end, if anybody wants to sell out an additional conviction, you can gain an additional choice to either destroy something or build something up. So if anybody wants to sell out, and again, since we're not playing again, there's no reason not to.
Oh yeah, we get all the things.
No, just one more.
Just
Oh,
one more.
Yep, only one person can do this.
I actually want to sell out.
Oh, this is good because you've been dying to sell something out.
Yeah, I have. So I actually kind of want to sell out my orphan.
Okay.
When I have orphan is that I don't have any parents. My foster parents only care about collecting a check. I'm barely ever supervised. My orphan sells out to ward. The authority has taken special interest in my upbringing. My behavior is always under great scrutiny. I'm a wild card, and they decide to kind of channel that.
Oh man.
Into teaching me like quote unquote proper journalism, so to speak. So like I actually kind of end up becoming like a war correspondent for the Swirlies and the TP gang.
Fair enough. And what option do you want to gain from that? Since you sold out, you get to choose: destroy a system of control, destroy an authority figure, or gain a new exploit.
I want to get rid of the community consequences for individual actions.
Ooh, okay.
That was one thing that really gummed up the works in creating chaos in the school. Was I don't have anyone, but I know other people in my friends group had people. And that was a catalyst for things. So for me, that's the one thing I learned is that I may have sold out being an orphan and I may have had my life changed in a bad way. But like, I also kind of learned that other people have other people and that kind of matters occasionally.
Yeah.
Especially when you're putting meatballs in the toilet. So
maybe when Panda, changed all the stuff and showed it to be older than it was, they sort of, there was a lot of pushback, right? And like, hey, how dare you give us consequences? And they weren't even right. And that pushback caused everybody to undo it or something like that. Or maybe your war correspondence, right? Maybe you uncovered some shady stuff and all right, so there's no more community consequences, and there's a sort of underwater cult. But yeah, that's it. If we were to play more, then you won. So great job on the one shot. If we were to keep playing, then there would come a time when one of you would sell out all your convictions, and then the campaign would end. At that point, we would take a look. How many exploits do you have versus how many authority figures and systems of control does the authority have remaining? And whoever has the most, that would be the ultimate sort of winner of,
Actually, I'm going to step in and correct you if you don't mind.
Please do.
If anybody sells out their last conviction, that is the end of a campaign and you have lost the fight against the authority. That is a bad ending. You have lost. The authority wins. The world sucks. Maybe someday somebody will save the world, but it's not going to be you. If before then you manage to, by winning episodes, destroy enough systems of control and authority figures and gain enough exploits so that you have more exploits than the total number of the authority's systems of control and authority figures, then you win the campaign. That's a good ending. Generally speaking, the way you would typically start a campaign, you might adjust this depending how long of a campaign you're going for. But as presented, the authority starts out with 8 things, and the youthful offenders start out with 1. So it takes a while to sort of build things up and shift things over. And there's a pretty good chance that one of you is going to sell out all the way before that happens.
Yeah,
especially if you burn convictions like we've been doing.
I stand corrected. Thank you, Cliff. Cliff should know. He's writing it. So yeah, that's it. That was our
awesome.
That was our episode. I had a really good time. Creating new cults of swirliness is always a good time. Anybody? Go ahead.
I would say I think it's intriguing that this is as you said before, this is a relatively scripted plot. It's not really scripted, but there's very specific scenes sort of described for you in detail early on. It sort of backs off a little bit as the adventure goes on. But I've played this a lot now with a bunch of different people, or with some of you more than once, and even with the same scenario and the same characters in the same setting, every single one-shot episode, that first episode, has gone in completely different directions. And that's been cool to see and experience too, because then it's not boring for me. I don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, while there is a lot of directed stuff sort of built into that first pilot episode, I'm very pleased and encouraged to see just how much variance there is in the story when it actually hits the table.
Yeah, I really like that aspect of it too, because for me it feels a lot like improv theater, but it has a ton of replayability. Like you can play the same setup over and over and have a completely different experience, a completely different fun time each time you do it.
Can confirm.
I think for me,
Pretty good.
sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just agreeing with the previous statement. Go for it.
Something interesting for me about the improv element of it is I came into this thinking about who which was supposed to be and how to use their anger. And then when you said using your convictions to do bodily harm, it actually forced me to have to think of ways which would do other things. Like when I do, like on Sunday nights as Panabon, the joke is, their gift in joy is in stabbing as a genderqueer rogue. But here, stabbing equals bad, and bad things will happen if you stab. So you have to find actually a way to do things that actually reinforce the fact you're a youthful offender. Like you're not an offender. Like this isn't Oz unless you make like an Oz style HBO setting, I guess, which is possible.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's not for the Gen Con TV cast, at least. But it was really interesting having to think of other ways to use the idea of what is considered bad, what is considered gross, what is considered brutality.
That's a very good point. Yeah.
Yeah, and part of our discussion behind that was like twofold. Like number one, we sort of have an ethos at Frag and Unicorns where every life is valuable, so we sort of want to soft pedal that right into the things that we do. But also there's this idea where we don't want to tell oppressed communities that they can't use violence. That didn't feel right either. But what can we say that would hit both of those things? And it's like, well, what happens in real life when the oppressed folks use violence? Well, the authority hits back harder, right? So I think we sort of hit both of those themes by the rule violence is ugly. There might come a time where you think, no, this is what I have to do. This feels right. I need to punch back. I need to, blah, blah, blah. And you might do that, but then you are just preparing yourself for what comes next. And I think the result is that, just like John was saying, it forces you to think outside the box into something that might not be violent, but it might actually end up being more powerful in the long term, right? Or more effective, or at least stop people from getting hurt. I don't know. It's an intellectual exercise, if nothing more.
It
well,
is,
also role-playing games are full of violent conflict resolution as the default. Like, what do you do when you play D&D? You go out and you murder monsters and you take their stuff.
Yeah,
that's the default gameplay.
right, but that's not
sure, but it's fun to have role-playing games where the point of the game isn't can you violently defeat the opponent. And the answer with the authority is always no, because the authority has their legitimized violence and use of force, and they can always bring more to bear than any individual might. So even though it might seem like the right thing to do to fight back with violence or justified, it's going to hurt you.
All right, we're wrapping up here. we've got one thing to do, and that is to announce the winner of the what do you call it? The thing,
Drawing?
the
Giveaway?
raffle,
Winner?
the drawing. Yeah,
The winner of the chicken
words
dinner.
words are
winner.
difficult tonight. Yes, the winner of the drawing for the free copy of Misspent Youth and Sell Out with Me. But before we do that, do you folks have anything that you want to promote or pump before we leave? Where we can find you on the web?
You can find most of us at Rem Alternis Productions. We have a Discord that welcomes new voices and new faces. We believe that everybody has a voice and that your creativity is welcome. Like I said earlier, I do some work with the Alternia Archives, which is the podcast. But I also have a personal podcast, Everything is Gay, Even the Straight Stuff, where I and my friend Magnus, who is an English illustrator and author, discuss all things pop culture. And we just had an episode about Into the Woods. Our first episode that we put up, the Golden Girl episode, is still the one that has the most listens by far. But yeah, so there's a whole bunch of cool projects. Rem Alternis right now is doing stuff every single day of the week. Like you got your D&D, you got your shadow runs, you got things that are ripping through reality, and on Sunday nights you've got Panabon stabbing people with love.
Sounds good. Anybody else want to pump anything?
Well, personally, you can find me on Twitter at that nerdy writer, where I actually don't talk a lot about writing right now, just because I'm so busy with Rem stuff. I do a lot of I make sure a lot of the Kickstarters that we help go, like the Misspent Youth one. We've got at least 3 or 4 others that I'm helping facilitate later this year. So you'll see me shilling a lot of those, talking about TTRPGs and a particular law, a court case that's big in the media right now. And yeah, check out the Alternia Archives. It's you can find it on most podcatchers, Spotify, Apple, I don't know where. Alternia Archives. It's a short-run games campaigns of other systems that we're proving that there's games other than D&D out there.
Sounds good.
I also have an audio drama series that I run called Surf City Donuts, which is like a sci-fi horror anthology series where anything can happen. It's very Twilight Zone influenced. So Surf City Donuts season 2 will be coming up shortly. And season 1 is available wherever YouTube videos are sold for free, because it's YouTube and it's free.
All right. Who's next?
What do you have coming up with Fragging Unicorns? Because I know that you're doing Misspent Youth, but you have other, like, you have great coffee mugs in your shop at Fragging. I love your coffee mugs. That's why I keep plugging the coffee mugs when people ask me.
It begins and ends with the coffee mugs. That's it. We've peaked.
I love the unicorn. I don't know if anyone in the chat hasn't seen the Fragging Unicorn logo, but I absolutely adore the logo, and I desperately want the mug for my morning coffee because it's just the best.
You can absolutely get the mug and some honestly pretty dope t-shirts and stuff like that if you go to fraggingunicorns.com. You can also pick up Gangs of the Undercity, which is a cyber fantasy skirmish gang warfare miniatures game.
I have
you
the
can
book around here somewhere. Hold on.
It's fun.
There are also no drawbacks to using violence against your opponents in that game.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's the entire purpose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same Neo Babylon, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
same
Neo
setting that we just played. Yep, as will be
It's
the
just,
upcoming
you don't play the
RPG
youthful
version.
offenders, you play the adult versions.
Yes, that's not a role-playing game, so we didn't feel bad about just saying, look, this is a game of violence. There's no role-playing here. There's just rolling dice and beating each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we also have an upcoming game called Subversion, which is a role-playing game set firmly, in that it's more of a traditional role-playing game, cyber fantasy, where you focus on building up your community and basically doing things and subverting a much larger system that's trying to keep you down. Lots of same themes as Misspent Youth, but yeah, it's a little more traditional. So we'll have sort of adventure paths and ways your character improves over time and whatnot. So, Cliff, do you want to pump anything?
Sure. I'll plug the other RPG of mine that I've self-published, Funny Freakout. It's a rules light, fast, and funny party game disguised as a tabletop RPG. Your goal is to pull out the funniest, weirdest prank you can on an unsuspecting mark and make it into a cool, fun show. So your characters are all sort of a crew that are trying to pull off a horror comedy prank show, and the game master only plays a single character, the role of the mark, the person that's getting the prank played on them. They keep score and they react to the players, whereas the players sort of get to set the scene because it's their prank. So it sort of flips the GM player's role. And it's also just a lot of fun to sit down and play in zero prep. It's meant to be able to sit down and open up and just try out without having to know what you're doing ahead of time. Much like how the Misspent Youth pilot episodes are meant to bring you into the game like that. But this is much simpler rules and a lot lighter theme. If you're familiar at all with the show Scare Tactics that was on a while ago, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, or at least was. Haven't seen it in a while, but it sort of inspired this idea. And you can get that for $5 on my itch.io site, or there are some community copies available as well. I make those available because I think people should be able to get games even if they don't have money to pay for them. Am I allowed to post the link in the chat?
I don't know. Try it.
You know what? I will just do it.
I'm not in charge. I'm just the
Here's your
GM.
convictions.
He's not the authority here anymore.
Right.
There
No,
we go.
send me. It did not post.
Oh, it
I
didn't
think
do
if
it.
you send me the link, I can post it because I'm
All right.
pretty sure I'm a moderator.
See, I thought that might
I'll DM you.
Aha.
All right. The last thing that... Go ahead.
Only thing that I wanted to mention was for Rem Alternis, for anybody who's watching right now, if you want to catch out Rem Alternis on Mondays, both me and Ava here are in a Dresden game. I know it was mentioned earlier on in this stream, the horrible dice curse that I have, but if you want to see it in action, feel free to check that out and see just how many ones and horrible things I can get myself into.
And if you join the Rem Alternis Patreon, there's probably extra Paranormal Albany content featuring even worse rolls that Roadkill has made. So,
Oh, yeah.
take a glance at our Patreon. We also have a Kickstarter that we're doing for Cottlesworth Clockwork Circus, which is our Sunday night stream like Clockwork is based in the universe that our GM Danny Yoon created. Probably if you're listening out there, perhaps you've heard about issue 1, but issue 2 is going to be having Kickstarter, and it's going to be even more Clockwork and even more circusy. So come and join, and maybe you too can get one of the cool t-shirts that I'm currently wearing that you can't see because I'm just a little oval.
I am maritally obligated to also say that Monday night's Paranormal Albany is great because Mrs. Opti is on that show too. So
Yes.
go watch it. It's fun time.
It's so much
Lastly, we will say that if you liked what you saw here today, if you're interested in learning more and getting Misspent Youth Fall in Love Not in Line when the book goes to print, head on over to Kickstarter. You can go get there by going to Rem Alternis / I don't remember what it was. Help me, Ava. You're my only hope. It was remalternis.com / Misspent Youth. And you can...
Oh, wait, hold on.
No!
I mistyped it. There's no dash.
Mistyped. Oh, no. Okay, we'll put it in the chat. It's no big deal.
Dishonor! Dishonor!
Internal
It's 2
server
words. There should be a
error.
dash.
You brought shame to your house. Anyway, head over there and you can pick up Misspent Youth Fall in Love Not in Line. Help us to reach our first stretch goal where Robert Bull, the creator, comes and writes one of the settings for us, which I'd really, really, really love to happen. So 6 days left.
Because I get the notifications about it, and it's robot themed. I can't express to you how much we want to hit this goal.
Yes,
I
old
wanna
robots
hit
versus
goals
younger
too.
robots.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hit it so bad. It's a Ray Bradbury dream come true. If you love Ray Bradbury, back the Kickstarter.
So head on over there.
Through.
$20 will get you the PDFs. $30 will get you the soft cover of the new book and the PDFs, and $70 will get you the hard cover or soft covers of all the the books we released so far. So this has been great. Everybody take a bow. I was super pumped to be here for the first ever episode of, what are we calling it? The One Shot Show. The one shot show.
That one shot
show. And for me, this was a one shot because I won't be back next time. But I had a great time. I love you all, and I really appreciate your time. The crew has been amazing, amazing youthful offenders, but I wasn't offended at all. I was quite refreshed by your role-playing abilities. And with that, I think, unless I'm told otherwise, is going to be...
I'd like to thank Tech. Thank you, Tech, for all the work that you do.
Thank you, Texlin.
Yes.
All right, bye, folks.
Beautiful work.
Have a great Gen
Also,
Con
the
day.
giveaway.
And the giveaway.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
giveaway in the chat.
The giveaway.
Has that
Okay.
been announced yet?
It hasn't been announced, but I am told in the chat behind the scenes chat that because of the mix-up we had and the dropped stream, that we're going to have to collate those later and pick the winner. We'll get back in touch with the winner after. It was a real disappointment. I'm sorry. I love to.
Just a
I hate
pause.
to
It's
build up the
a-
That said,
disappointment.
if anybody wants a PDF of the Misspent Youth book, you can get it. Just Google Misspent Youth. It's on Robert's website. He's encouraged people to torrent and pirate it. The book is out there in PDF, so even if you get it from somewhere like, I don't know, whatever replaced the archive, rest
Is
in
it on
peace.
Drive-Thru
Uh,
RPG? Is it available?
I mean,
on
you
Drive-Thru?
could probably
yes.
buy it on there too, but you can get it for free if you want to get it for free.
If you want it, you can go to MisspentYouth.robertroll.com, which we keep saying is Robert's website. It's actually our website. We just
Oh, is it really?
changed the
I
name.
thought it
Yeah.
was Robert's.
We
My
just didn't
mistake.
change the
My
name of
mistake.
it. It was too hard to change the name of it. But if you go to either fragandunicorns.com or robertroll.com, you can find copies of that for free, or you could buy it and get the soft covers of Sell Out With Me or Original Misspent Youth. I think that's it for now, right? All right. If you won, we will contact you. If you did not win, we will not. But if you want it for free anyway, go get it. Come and get your love. We'll end there.
I like that. That's a good line for it. I feel like that was used somewhere.
Bye.
If you want to follow